In the year 2009, nestled deep beneath the azure waves of the Pacific Ocean, lay the Titan Research Facility. This beacon of scientific advancement, positioned on the ocean floor near the Mariana Trench, was designed to unlock the secrets of the deep sea. Among its crew was Dr. Alexandra Pierce, a brilliant engineer with unparalleled expertise in biomechatronic systems. The facility, a marvel of human ingenuity, was a complex of labs, living quarters, and containment units designed to withstand the immense pressure of the deep ocean. The day began like any other in the Titan facility. Dr. Pierce reviewed data from the latest experiments on marine life adaptation to extreme pressures. However, the routine was shattered when an alarm blared throughout the complex. A containment breach had been detected. The subject, a genetically modified supershark, codenamed Titanius. This creature, engineered for enhanced intelligence and strength, had been part of a controversial project to study extreme evolutionary adaptations. It was now loose within the facility. The initial chaos was palpable as the facility's crew scrambled to enact containment protocols. However, their efforts were hampered by the cunning of Titanius, who had quickly learned to navigate the facility's corridors with terrifying efficiency. Dr. Pierce was cut off from the rest of the crew, trapped in the engineering section with the creature lurking in the shadows. With the communication system sabotaged by the creature's rampage, Dr. Pierce realized that the safety of the entire facility and its secrets were in her hands. She needed to outsmart Titanius, restore the containment systems, and prevent the creature from breaching the facility's exterior, which would risk unleashing it into the open ocean. Leveraging her deep understanding of the facility's design, Dr. Pierce began a deadly game of cat and mouse. She navigated the labyrinthine corridors, using her knowledge of the security systems to her advantage. With each step, she was acutely aware of the creature's presence, its shadow looming over her every move. The tension escalated when Dr. Pierce discovered that Titanius was not just hunting her, but learning from her attempts to evade it. The creature's genetically enhanced intelligence allowed it to anticipate her moves, forcing Dr. Pierce to innovate her strategies constantly. In a bold move, Dr. Pierce decided to lure Titanius into the hydroponic lab, a section filled with thick plant life and water systems. She planned to use the environment's complexity to her advantage, creating distractions and obstacles to confuse the creature. The chase through the hydroponic lab was harrowing, with Dr. Pierce narrowly avoiding the creature's jaws several times. As the chase continued, Dr. Pierce led Titanius toward the containment unit. She had rigged the unit's entrance to close remotely using her technical skills. Timing her sprint precisely, she dashed through the doorway, triggering the closure mechanism as Leviathan lunged at her. The creature was trapped once again. Dr. Pierce set to work repairing the damage to the facility's systems with the shark contained. Her efforts ensured that the breach was sealed, preventing any risk of the creature escaping into the ocean. The facility was safe for a moment. The incident's aftermath was a period of reflection for the crew of the Titan facility. Dr. Alexandra Pierce was hailed as a hero, her quick thinking and bravery having averted a potential catastrophe. The Titanius project was terminated, with discussions on the ethical implications of such genetic modifications taking center stage. For Dr. Pierce, the experience was a profound one. She returned to her work with a renewed sense of purpose, aware of the delicate balance between human ambition and the forces of nature. The incident had tested her to her limits, but it had also shown her the strength of her resolve. The story of Dr. Pierce and Titanius became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the unforeseen consequences that can arise when humanity seeks to play superior. Yet it also served as a testament to the human spirit's resilience, the ability to face the unknown with courage and ingenuity. In the end, the Titan Research Facility remained a beacon of scientific discovery, its depths echoing with the silent whispers of the sea and the secrets it held. In a cruel twist of fate, the world lost a beloved wildlife conservationist on September 4, 2006, as Steve Irwin, renowned as the crocodile hunter, met his untimely demise in a tragic stingray attack. Irwin, who along with his wife Terry, co-owned and operated the Australia Zoo, was widely known for his charismatic personality and internationally broadcast wildlife documentary series. At 44 years old, Irwin was at the peak of his career, deeply passionate about showcasing the wonders of the natural world. The fatal incident occurred while he was filming in the Great Barrier Reef for his show Ocean's Deadliest. The day was not meant to unfold tragically, as the scheduled filming had been canceled due to adverse weather conditions. Bored at his hotel and seeking adventure, Irwin, accompanied by his cameraman Justin Lyons and director Stainton, decided to venture out on a small boat to Bat Reef off the Port Douglas coast. Their initial quest to track a deadly tiger shark proved futile, leading Irwin to redirect his attention to a giant 8-foot stingray for a separate project, likely related to his daughter's show, Bindi the Jungle Girl. The seemingly harmless encounter with stingrays took a devastating turn. Irwin, known for his fearless approach to wildlife, swam above the docile creature. In an unforeseen and tragic moment, the stingray projected one of its venomous barbs into Irwin's chest, possibly triggered by a mistaking of the crocodile hunter for a shark. Stingrays employ their venomous spinal blades as a defense mechanism when they feel threatened or stepped on. Irwin, who had spent a lifetime interacting with wildlife, found himself in a dangerous situation as the barb pierced his chest and struck his heart. The crews, realizing the severity of the condition, rushed the iconic conservationist back to their boat. In a chilling account of the tragic events that unfolded on that fateful day, cameraman Justin Lyons vividly recalled the horrifying moment when a stingray's barb pierced through Steve Irwin's chest, like a hot knife through butter. The unsuspecting encounter with a usually docile creature quickly became a fight for Irwin's life. Irwin, known for his fearless approach to wildlife, initially believed the stingray had punctured his lung. Unknown to him, the barb had struck a far more critical organ, his heart. As the boat raced back to shore, chaos ensued, with Lyons screaming at one of the crew members to place their hand over the wound. Desperation filled the air as the crew implored Irwin to hold on, reminding him of his children and urging him to fight. Irwin, facing the gravity of the situation, looked up calmly at Lyons and uttered his last words, "I'm dying." The weight of those words hung in the air as they continued their desperate attempts to save the environmental icon. Upon reaching the shore, paramedics performed CPR in a frantic effort to revive Irwin. Still, tragically, he passed away before reaching the hospital. The news of Irwin's untimely death sent shockwaves across the globe, leaving fans, the media, governments, and non-profit organizations in a state of grief and disbelief. In Australia, where Irwin was a beloved figure, former Prime Minister John Howard felt deep sorrow, expressing that the country has a lovely and colorful son. Queensland's Premier acknowledged Irwin as a great Queenslander and an excellent Australian. The federal parliament in Australia opened with speeches from both Howard and the leader of the opposition, Kim Beazley, offering condolences. Even the Sydney Harbour Bridge, a symbol of the country, lowered its flags to half-mast in honor of Irwin. Reactions echoed through Australian news sources, talkback radio, and television networks. Even in the United States, where Irwin had become a familiar face through over 200 Discovery Network programs, special tributes graced the Animal Planet channel and prominent slots on CNN and other major networks. After the tragedy, a private funeral service occurred 5 days later, providing a somber and intimate farewell to the beloved conservationist. Irwin was laid to rest in a private ceremony at the Australia Zoo on the same day. A public memorial service was held in the Australia Zoo's 500-seat Crocosseum on September 30, 2006, as a tribute to the crocodile hunter. The public memorial, broadcast live, drew an estimated audience of over 300 million viewers, underscoring the global impact of Irwin's legacy. The Crocosseum, typically a venue for showcasing wildlife and entertaining audiences, transformed into a space for collective mourning and reflection on the life of a man who dedicated his life to conserving the natural world. Thousands of fans traveled to Australia Zoo with flowers, candles, stuffed animals, and heartfelt messages to pay their respects to the man who had brought the wonders of the animal kingdom into their homes. Steve Irwin's passing marked the end of an era, leaving an indelible void in the hearts of those who admired and revered him. His legacy, however, endured through the ongoing work of his family at the Australia Zoo and the continued efforts of wildlife conservationists worldwide. The horrific episode, captured in its entirety for the television program, became a pivotal point in Irwin's narrative. Yet in a twist of fate, all but one copy of the footage met a deliberate demise once authorities concluded their investigation. Amid the clamor for answers and the public's insatiable curiosity, a single copy of the footage lingered, a silent witness to the untimely departure of a beloved icon. It was a decision fueled by the unwavering loyalty of Irwin's close friends and family, a protective gesture shielding the world from the visceral and distressing reality of his final moments. Stainton, Irwin's best mate and the director of Ocean's Deadliest, was at the helm of this protective shield. In the wake of the tragedy, Stainton pledged an unyielding commitment to keep the video from the public eye. His conviction stemmed not from a desire to conceal the truth. Still, from a genuine concern for the emotional toll it would exact on those who revered Irwin. Far from censorship, the decision to withhold the footage became an act of compassion for a man whose life was a testament to his boundless enthusiasm and love for wildlife. A strange and unsettling occurrence occurred on Queensland's beaches in the following weeks. At least 10 stingrays were found dead and mutilated, their tails cruelly cut off. The speculation arose that this could be a vengeful act by fans of Irwin, seeking retribution against the creatures that had inadvertently caused his tragic end. However, the Queensland Fishing Information Service chairperson shed light on a different perspective. According to them, anglers often accidentally cut off the tails of stingrays they catch to avoid getting stung. 2 months after Irwin's passing, another tribute emerged as an animated film. This cinematic endeavor, with Irwin's posthumous voiceover, served as a homage to the man who had become a global symbol of wildlife conservation. Dedicated to Irwin, the film was a celebration of his legacy. Yet the tribute did not end with the silver screen. September 15th, the chosen day to celebrate Steve Irwin, became an annual observance known as Steve Irwin Day. This commemorative day stands as a testament to the enduring impact of his work, a day when people around the world join hands to honor the man who fearlessly ventured into the wild to educate and inspire. Steve Irwin's life, cut short by the unlikeliest of adversaries, continues to resonate through the conservation efforts inspired by his indomitable spirit. His death left a void not only in the hearts of Australians, but also in the global community that had come to admire and appreciate his passion for wildlife. Serafina Halstead lived in the coastal town of Marinoside, where the salt-tinged breeze wove tales of the sea. Marinoside was renowned for its picturesque beaches and vibrant parks, which concealed beautiful sceneries beneath the mesmerizing waves, waiting to be unraveled by only the most courageous individuals who dared to delve into their depths. Serafina, a spirited artist with a deep connection to the ocean, was irresistibly pulled toward the seaside parks that whispered enchanting tales of unexplored secrets. On a crisp autumn day in 2008, Serafina wandered through Marinoside's renowned Ocean Haven Park. The park was flanked by rugged cliffs and adorned with the vibrant hues of fall foliage, which beckoned to those who sought solace by the water's edge. She noticed a solitary sea lion basking on a rocky outcrop. The sea lion's eyes reflected the allure of the boundless ocean, captivating her attention. Serafina's artistic soul was captivated by the energy emanating from this sea lion, which was unlike its companions. Intrigue filled her as she cautiously made her way toward the source, the rhythmic sounds of the waves harmonizing perfectly with the melodic calls emitted by the creature. Her heart brimming with wonder, Serafina extended her hand towards the sea lion, silently offering an invitation for connection. Initially, the sea lion exhibited a gentle curiosity as it responded to the situation. Its eyes, reflecting the profound depths of the ocean, mirrored its intrigue. Serafina experienced a deep connection as a shared understanding enveloped her and another being, irresistibly drawn to the untamed beauty surrounding them. The onlookers were enchanted by the unusual bond unfolding before them. They watched in hushed awe as Serafina and the sea lion engaged in a dance of silent communication. However, the tranquil moment was shattered like fragile glass when an unseen force suddenly overcame the sea lion. Once filled with curiosity, the eyes transformed into orbs of ancient wisdom. In an instant, the creature's demeanor underwent a sudden transformation, shifting from a state of calmness to one of primal instinct, and with a speed that defied the laws of nature, it forcefully seized Serafina. Ocean Haven Park was filled with a serene ambiance when a haunting scream suddenly pierced through the tranquil atmosphere. The onlookers gasped, their bodies frozen in a tableau of horror. The sea lion, which had become a creature propelled by an inexplicable force, forcefully pulled Serafina towards the perilously close edge of the water. The witnesses were paralyzed by fear as they watched the tragedy unfold, unable to comprehend the sudden change in the creature's behavior. Amid the chaotic scene, a bystander named Percival Drake, a quick-thinking man, swiftly reached into his pocket and retrieved his cell phone. Without wasting a moment, he dialed the emergency services, taking immediate action to seek help in the face of the unfolding turmoil. The once tranquil park was transformed into a bustling scene as the distant wails of sirens filled the air, indicating the imminent arrival of park authorities. The response team was led by Eliana Quinn, a seasoned wildlife expert who worked as a park ranger. They armed themselves with nets and a mixture of concern and determination as they approached the agitated sea lion. It dawned on them that the situation had spiraled beyond their comprehension. The sea lion fiercely fought against the approaching authorities, as its primal instincts overrode any semblance of reason. As Eliana inched closer, she expertly threw a net, which trapped the creature in a temporary prison of woven threads. The sea lion was trapped and disoriented, and it released its hold on Serafina. She lay unconscious, her body bearing the marks of the savage encounter. With a sense of urgency, the park authorities transported Serafina to Marinoside Memorial Hospital, leaving behind a park that was haunted by the specter of the untamed. The sterile walls of the hospital transformed into the stage where a desperate battle unfolded between life and the lingering shadows of that fateful day. Dr. Thaddeus Cromwell, a highly skilled surgeon with a deep passion for unraveling the complexities of the human body, took charge of the team's valiant efforts to rescue and preserve the life of Serafina. The artist, who was once vibrant and full of life, now found themselves teetering on the brink of life and death as they bore the scars of an encounter with the unknown. As the days transformed into nights, Marinoside held its breath as the community grappled with the aftermath of a tragedy that defied any logical explanation. Rumors were circulating, as each whisper contributed to the incident surrounding the sea lion and its inexplicable rampage. Headlines in newspapers were carried, hinting at what had happened in Ocean Haven Park. Meanwhile, debates about the thin line separating humanity from the untamed wilderness were buzzing on social media. Serafina's survival has become a beacon of hope, serving as a testament to the unwavering resilience of the human spirit when confronted with the unpredictable forces of nature. Yet her body bore scars that silently told a tale, an etched narrative in her flesh that spoke of a dance she had engaged in with the untamed depths of the sea. While Serafina was recovering in the hushed corridors of Marinoside Memorial Hospital, Eliana Quinn and Percival Drake decided to join forces with Dr. Cromwell to analyze the situation in their town. The sea lion had been confined to a specialized facility for observation, displaying a strange mix of obedience and an underlying energy that eluded classification. It appeared that the sea lion had reacted to Serafina, as it may have seen that it was unsafe with her despite being friendly at first. Serafina postulated that the attack manifested a natural aggressiveness between the species and humans. As the investigation continued to unfold, the town of Marinoside discovered it was standing at a crucial crossroads. The sea lion, now a symbol of fear and fascination, transformed into a focal point for intense debates surrounding humanity's relationship with the untamed forces beneath the ocean's surface. As Serafina's recovery progressed, she became increasingly immersed in the town's collective soul-searching. She had an encounter with the sea lion that became a focal point for discussions on the thin veil separating humanity from the untamed beauties surrounding Marinoside. The once tranquil Ocean Haven Park was transformed into a symbolic battleground, as artists painted murals that depicted the enigmatic sea lion, and poets composed verses that echoed the silent whispers of the depths. Marinoside was caught in the grip of an otherworldly force and grappled with questions that transcended the boundaries of science and reason. The sea lion appeared responsible for protecting itself as the threads of an unspoken agreement bound it. Dr. Helena Van Thorn was haunted by the inexplicable behaviors displayed by the sea lion, so she sought solace in her laboratory. Through meticulous experiments and tireless research, she pieced together a theory that spoke of a delicate equilibrium between the human inhabitants of Marinoside and the surrounding marine ecosystem. As the town worried about the incident, a subtle shift occurred within the sea lion's enclosure. The creature, which had once been a symbol of unbridled aggression, displayed indications of tranquility. The primal eyes of Marinoside softened as if they were acknowledging the newfound understanding that had dawned upon them. During a pivotal town hall meeting, Serafina stood confidently before her fellow residents, proudly displaying the scars that adorned her body as she recounted her incredible journey of survival. Her words carried the weight of an encounter that defied reason as they resonated through the room. At that moment, Marinoside decided to embrace its untamed legacy fully. Marinoside recognized that the sea lion was not just a harbinger of fear, but rather a guardian of the ancient secrets held by the town. However, sacrifices were made during the resolution. The sea lion was returned to the park after careful consultation and analysis, leaving behind a lingering sense of gratitude that was felt by all. Marinoside was forever changed by the events that had unfolded. It stood on the precipice of a new understanding that acknowledged the silent whispers of the depths and the delicate dance between humanity and the untamed forces that had shaped its destiny. As the years went by, the tale of Serafina's encounter with the sea lion transformed into a cautionary tale that the waves lovingly whispered along the shores of Marinoside. She wore the scars on her body as a badge of honor, as a constant reminder that, in pursuing the untamed, she had encountered not only danger, but also forged a profound connection with the mysteries beneath the ocean's surface. And so, Marinoside continued to exist as a town forever bound to the sea. The echoes of that fateful day lingered in the air, resembling the fading ripples of a stone cast into the still waters. The untamed, which was once feared by the townspeople, had transformed into an integral part of the town's identity. It had formed a silent pact with the depths, defining the essence of Marinoside and its resilient inhabitants. In the summer of 1978, on a remote and ostensibly unremarkable island off the coast of Belize, Olivia Marquez found herself standing at the precipice of an ancient mystery. The island, known to a few locals as Isla Sombra, was a place of legend, rumored to harbor secrets dating back centuries. Olivia, a marine biologist with a penchant for adventure, had stumbled upon Isla Sombra by chance, or so she thought while researching the migratory patterns of rare shark species. The setting of Isla Sombra was hauntingly beautiful, with dense jungles bordering pristine beaches that encased the island like a natural fortress. Its history was as rich as mysterious, with tales of ancient civilizations and lost treasures whispered among the waves. With her insatiable curiosity, Olivia was drawn to the island's rumored hidden ecosystem, a place where, according to local lore, a new species of shark thrived. Her days on Isla Sombra were spent in rigorous exploration. The island revealed its secrets slowly, with Olivia meticulously documenting the unique flora and fauna she encountered. It wasn't until she discovered a secluded lagoon, hidden from the world by towering cliffs and dense foliage, that she realized the truth behind the legends. The lagoon was home to a species of shark she had never seen before, creatures that moved with an eerie grace through the crystal-clear waters. Fascination quickly turned to obsession as Olivia studied these magnificent predators. She noted their behavior, unlike any shark species known to science. They were intelligent, showing signs of social structure and astonishing problem-solving abilities. However, Isla Sombra was more occupied than Olivia had believed. The island harbored biological secrets and dangers that lurked in the shadow of its beauty. Olivia was trapped one evening as the sun lay below the horizon, casting a shining glow over the lagoon. The tide had risen, cutting off her path back to camp. To her horror, she realized that the sharks were not just inhabitants of the lagoon, but guardians of the island's secrets. Night fell and Olivia was alone, save for the sharks that patrolled the waters around her. She understood then that her fascination had led her into a trap she might not escape. The island, with all its ancient mysteries, had lured her in, and now she was part of its story, a tale of survival and terror. Olivia's fight for survival on Isla Sombra was a testament to her resilience and ingenuity. She navigated the island's treacherous terrain, relying on her knowledge of the natural world to evade the sharks that seemed to anticipate her every move. During these harrowing days, Olivia uncovered Isla Sombra's true secret. The island was not just a haven for a new species of shark. It was a sacred site protected by these creatures for centuries. The sharks were not mindless predators, but the guardians of Isla Sombra's ancient secrets, a pact between nature and the mystic forces that govern the island. Olivia's ordeal was resolved by discovering an ancient artifact, a relic of the civilization that had once thrived on Isla Sombra. It was this artifact that held the key to her escape. With a combination of bravery and desperation, Olivia used the relic to appease the sharks, proving her respect for the island's secrets and its guardians. Olivia Marquez left Isla Sombra as the first person in modern history to uncover its secrets and live to tell the tale. Her experience on the island changed her, not just as a scientist, but as a person who had come face to face with the raw power of nature. She returned to the world with groundbreaking scientific discoveries and a profound respect for the mysteries hidden in the Earth's unexplored corners. Olivia's encounter with the sharks of Isla Sombra became a legend in its own right, a tale of adventure, survival, and the ancient pact between humans and the natural world. It was a reminder that in the end we are all just visitors to the vast untamed wilderness that is our planet. Olivia's story, marked by terror and awe, served as a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who dare to venture into the unknown, seeking the secrets that lie waiting in the shadows. In the small fishing town of Gansbai, South Africa, renowned for its dense population of sharks, Dr. Hannah Clark, a dedicated marine biologist, embarked on a pivotal project. Her mission was to tag sharks for a study analyzing their migratory patterns and behavior. Little did she know that this expedition would test her courage and expertise in ways she never imagined. Hannah had always been captivated by the ocean's mysteries, dedicating her life to marine conservation. Her work had taken her to various parts of the world, but Gansbai held a special place in her heart with its rugged coastlines and rich marine biodiversity. Here, she first witnessed the majestic great white shark, which terrified and fascinated her. The project's objective was clear: tag as many sharks as possible to gather vital data. Equipped with specialized tagging equipment, Hannah and her team set out on their research vessel early one morning. The sea was calm, the sky a clear blue, conditions perfect for their endeavor. Hannah's team included her trusted colleague, Alex, an experienced diver and researcher, and a small crew well-versed in the waters around Gansbai. The team prepared for the day's work as they reached their destination, a well-known shark hotspot. Hannah donned her diving suit, her heart pounding with excitement and anxiety. The process of tagging sharks was delicate and required precision. Hannah and Alex would dive into the water, locate a shark, and then carefully attach a tracking device to its dorsal fin. The device was designed to be minimally invasive, ensuring the shark's safety and well-being. As Hannah descended into the deep blue, she felt a sense of awe. The underwater world was a different realm, silent and vast. She could see the shadows of sharks in the distance, their sleek forms cutting through the water with grace and power. The first few tagging attempts went smoothly. The sharks, curious but cautious, allowed Hannah and Alex to approach them. Hannah's respect for these magnificent creatures grew with each encounter. She was struck by their beauty, strength, and vital role in the ocean's ecosystem. As the day progressed, Hannah prepared for another dive. This time they spotted a large great white shark, its massive form gliding effortlessly through the water. Hannah's heart raced. Tagging a shark of this size required skill and a deep understanding of shark behavior. She and Alex approached the shark, moving slowly to avoid startling it. The shark seemed aware of their presence but remained calm. Hannah positioned herself carefully, preparing to attach the tag. She admired the shark's immense power, aware that she was in the presence of one of nature's most formidable predators. Just as she was about to secure the tag, The shark suddenly veered, its movements erratic. Hannah realized something was wrong. The shark's behavior had shifted unexpectedly, and it was now showing signs of aggression. She signaled to Alex, warning him of the change. The shark circled back, its eyes fixed on Hannah. She knew she had to remain calm, but the situation rapidly became dangerous. Her training had prepared her for such encounters, but facing a great white shark in its element was an actual test of her resolve. Hannah and Alex slowly started to retreat to their boat's safety, but the shark was relentless. It moved closer, its powerful body a daunting sight. Hannah's mind raced as she searched for a way to defuse the situation without harming the shark, or putting herself and Alex in further danger. The shark's movements became more aggressive, its tail whipping through the water, creating powerful currents that made it difficult for Hannah and Alex to maintain their positions. Hannah's heart pounded in her chest, her mind racing for solutions. She remembered a technique she had read about, using a shark stick to gently redirect a shark's path without harming it. Carefully, she reached for the shark stick attached to her belt. The shark, sensing her movement, darted towards her. With precise timing, Hannah steadied her nerves and gently pushed the stick towards the shark's snout, redirecting it away from her. The shark, startled by the unexpected barrier, veered off course. Taking advantage of the moment, Hannah signaled to Alex to ascend. They needed to get out of the water as quickly as possible. The shark, however, was not deterred easily. It circled back, its movements more calculated. Hannah knew they were running out of time. The shark followed its massive form as they ascended, a shadow beneath them. Hannah kept the shark stick ready to maintain a safe distance whenever the shark got too close. Her heart raced, and her lungs burned with the effort of maintaining a steady pace while keeping an eye on the shark. Nearing the surface, Hannah could see the bottom of their boat. The crew had noticed the commotion and were on high alert, ready to assist. As they broke the surface, the crew immediately reached out, pulling Hannah and Alex to safety. Once on board, Hannah collapsed, her body shaking from the adrenaline and exertion. The crew tended to her, ensuring she was not injured. The shark, having lost interest, disappeared into the ocean's depths. The incident left Hannah and her team in a state of reflection at the research facility. The encounter was a stark reminder of the unpredictability of nature, especially when dealing with wild animals in their habitat. Hannah knew the risks involved in her work, but this experience had brought those risks into sharp focus. Despite the scare, Hannah's determination to continue her research did not waver. The incident had strengthened her resolve. It was a reminder of the importance of respecting the creatures of the sea and the need to continue learning about them to ensure their conservation. In the following days, Hannah analyzed the data from the tags they had successfully placed. Each tag represented a small victory, a piece of the puzzle in understanding the complex lives of these magnificent creatures. Hannah's experience also led to the implementing of new safety protocols for her team. They introduced additional training sessions focusing on handling unexpected encounters with sharks. Hannah's encounter with the aggressive shark became a case study, a learning experience for her and her peers in marine biology. Hannah's respect for the ocean and its inhabitants deepened as she continued her work. She was more aware than ever of the delicate balance between human activity and the marine ecosystem. Her encounter with the great white shark was a powerful reminder of the beauty and danger that coexist in the ocean, a testament to the need for continued research and conservation efforts. Hannah's story spread among her colleagues and in the marine biology community, not as a tale of fear, but as a story of resilience and respect for the natural world. She became an advocate for shark conservation, using her experience to educate others about the importance of understanding and protecting these misunderstood creatures. Months later, Hannah returned to the waters of Gansbai, her passion for her work undiminished. With all its mysteries and dangers, the ocean continued to fascinate her. Each dive was a journey into the unknown, a chance to learn and contribute to understanding the marine world. Hannah's encounter with the great white shark remained a pivotal moment in her career, a reminder of the challenges and rewards of working with nature. It was an experience that shaped her path as a marine biologist, reinforcing her commitment to studying and preserving the ocean's magnificent creatures. In the late 1800s, a tranquil town nestled on New Bedford, Massachusetts' coast became the unlikely backdrop for an extraordinary tale of revenge. Our main character, Benjamin Ben Clark, a seasoned whaler, was renowned in his community for his unshakable courage and exceptional seamanship. It was the year 1850 when Ben embarked on a fateful voyage aboard the whaling ship, the Essex Explorer. The Essex Explorer, a steadfast whaling ship, carried a crew of 21 members on that fateful journey. Whether seasoned or new to the trade, each sailor played a pivotal role in the ship's mission to hunt the elusive sperm whales. The crew members were a diverse ensemble, hailing from various corners of New Bedford and beyond. At the ship's helm was Captain Jonas P. Johnson, an experienced mariner with a reputation for his resourcefulness and sound judgment. His leadership was vital in guiding the crew through the challenges of a whaling expedition. First mate Benjamin Ben Clark, our main character, was the linchpin of the crew. His years of experience at sea had honed his skills, and his unwavering courage earned the respect of all aboard the Essex Explorer. Ben's role extended beyond his official duties, as he had become a mentor and protector to the younger, less seasoned crew members. His name was synonymous with bravery, a testament to his unwavering resolve. The rest of the crew was a mosaic of individuals, each contributing a unique skill set to the expedition. Among them were seasoned harpooners, able-bodied seamen, and greenhorns eager to prove themselves. From diverse backgrounds, these men were bound by the common purpose of harvesting the precious sperm whales for their oil. While the whaling industry held the promise of financial reward, it was no voyage for the faint-hearted. The crew members toiled relentlessly, facing difficult conditions and the unpredictable temperament of the sea. Each bore the weight of their shared goal, securing a profitable whale oil cargo. This creature, a leviathan of the deep, held a coveted place in the hearts of whalers, and was the source of their livelihood. The Essex Explorer was a formidable vessel, having weathered many treacherous voyages. It was a ship well equipped to hunt the elusive sperm whales, boasting an experienced crew well provisioned for the arduous journey ahead. As they set sail from the picturesque harbor of New Bedford, the crew could not foresee the extraordinary events that would soon unfold. The vast and serene Atlantic Ocean stretched before them, promising untold riches in the form of precious whale oil. Sperm whales, with their vast size and formidable strength, were considered the titans of the deep. These creatures were known to be generally peaceful, driven by their pursuit of squid rather than aggression. It was said that they occasionally mistook other mammals for seals or prey, leading to rare unintended confrontations with whalers. With their massive brains and complex social structures, they were creatures of remarkable intelligence. These majestic beings were known to form stable social groups and remember past encounters, mainly if they felt threatened. As the Essex Explorer ventured farther from shore, the crew's excitement was tempered by the knowledge of the sea's unpredictability. They remained vigilant, knowing that their pursuit of the sperm whale was not without its risks. The crew of the Essex Explorer had been at sea for months. Their pursuit of sperm whales had led them far from the familiar shores of New Bedford. As the ship ventured deeper into the open ocean, the whalers faced a challenge that tested their mettle and understanding of the natural world. With a presence that commanded awe, this colossal sperm whale approached the ship with an unmistakable sense of purpose. The crew, seasoned by their encounters with these leviathans, recognized the profound difference in this behemoth's demeanor. It wasn't a casual encounter, it was a confrontation. The calm ocean waters did not indicate the tempest about unfolding. As the crew of the Essex Explorer watched in amazement, the massive sperm whale, with tenfold fury and vengeance in its aspect, made its move. It surged forward with an intensity that was nothing short of extraordinary. The impact was like a thunderous collision. The ship shuddered and recoiled as if it had struck a rock. The experienced and battle-hardened crew were terrorized as the creature's sheer force grievously wounded their ship. The vessel that had once been their sanctuary became a battleground between man and Leviathan. Yet the most shocking revelation was to come. Despite the devastating strike, the colossal sperm whale did not retreat into the ocean's depths. Instead, it circled for a second assault, displaying an unwavering determination to confront its adversaries. The Essex Explorer was under siege by a colossal and relentless adversary. The whale's aggression was not born of hunger or mere threat. It was as if the great Leviathan harbored a deep-seated vendetta that defied explanation. It became evident that this was no ordinary encounter with a sea creature. As the colossal sperm whale continued its relentless assault on the Essex Explorer, the crew found themselves locked in a harrowing struggle for survival. The men who had embarked on this challenging journey had no clue that they were on the brink of a nightmare that would ultimately claim the lives of 12 of their own. The whale's second strike was as ferocious as the first, with even greater force and fury. The Essex Explorer, already grievously damaged, was further ravaged by the Leviathan's relentless assault. The ship shuddered and creaked under the onslaught of the vengeful beast. Amidst the chaos and mayhem, the crew members fought valiantly to keep their ship afloat. They worked desperately to repair the ship's damaged hull and prevent it from being drawn into the abyss. Yet their efforts were in vain. The immense breach in the ship's structure was beyond repair, and water poured into the vessel. As the Essex Explorer succumbed to the unrelenting fury of the sperm whale, the crew made a heart-wrenching decision. With the ship sinking beneath them, they clung to the remaining whaleboats, their only lifeline in the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. With their vessel lost, the crew faced a grim reality. They were adrift in the heart of the ocean, thousands of miles from land, with only their fragile whaleboats as a means of survival. The ordeal ahead was unimaginable hardship as they grappled with the harsh elements, the scarcity of provisions, and the ever-present threat of the relentless sea. The crew of the Essex Explorer included 21 members, all of whom had embarked on this whaling expedition with dreams of success and fortune. Yet now they were cast adrift in the vast and unforgiving Atlantic with no immediate hope of rescue. The harrowing days and nights that followed were filled with struggles for sustenance and navigation. The crew had to decide on their course of action, whether to head for the nearest islands, 1,000 miles downwind to the west, or embark on an epic journey of almost 3,000 miles to reach the South American mainland. Only 8 of the 21 crew members aboard the ill-fated ship survived the grueling ordeal ahead. This tragic tale of the Essex Explorer would come to symbolize the indomitable spirit of those who confront the relentless forces of nature. The legacy of the 12 fishermen who perished in the tragedy would serve as a reminder of the unpredictable and formidable power of the natural world. In the radiant summer of 2010, the Henderson family, consisting of the affable architect Baker Henderson, his adventurous wife Emily, a travel blogger, and their 2 children, the spirited Jake and the imaginative Lily, embarked on a meticulously planned Antarctic cruise. The cruise aboard the Aurora Serenity promised a once-in-a-lifetime journey through the frozen landscapes, wondrous waters, and the opportunity to witness exotic wildlife in its natural habitat. The nautical odyssey commenced in the charming harbor town of Ushuaia, Argentina, serving as the gateway to the frosty expanses of Antarctica. Beneath a cloudless sky, the Aurora Serenity set sail, gracefully navigating the frigid waters as the Hendersons reveled in the surreal beauty of glaciers and anticipated a unique, untamed adventure. The family marveled at the serene landscapes as the cruise boat charted a course toward the Antarctic Peninsula. Against the backdrop of colossal icebergs and pristine snowfields, the Hendersons, their faces aglow with excitement, raised their drinking glasses in a heartfelt toast to dreams fulfilled and aspirations realized. Little did they suspect that beneath the crystalline surface a shadow lurked, a leopard seal harboring an inexplicable animosity. One sunny afternoon near the icy shores, the family spotted a group of leopard seals leisurely basking on an ice floe. Intrigued by the rare sighting, they decided to approach for a once-in-a-lifetime photo opportunity. Blissfully unaware of the territorial intricacies at play, they stepped onto the ship's deck, cameras at the ready, eager to capture the majesty of nature. The seals, seemingly indifferent to the approaching vessel, lounged on the ice floe. However, one particular leopard seal, distinguished by a distinctive scar on its flank, eyed the Hendersons with unsettling intensity. The family, absorbed in the beauty of the moment, remained oblivious to the impending threat. As they edged closer, the scarred leopard seal's agitation escalated. Suddenly, with a lightning-fast movement, it leaped from the ice floe, crashing onto the deck in a ferocious assault. Pandemonium erupted as the Hendersons grappled with the unforeseen danger that had shattered the tranquility of their cruise. Guided by instinct and protective fervor, Baker grabbed a sturdy pole to fend off the powerful predator. Emily, shielding Lily and Jake, emitted piercing screams, the sound reverberating through the icy Antarctic air, reaching the ship's radio. What was once a serene holiday had transformed into a nightmare. The leopard seal's attack leaving the family battered and traumatized. The ship's authorities, alarmed by the desperate distress call, rushed to the scene. The struggle between man and nature continued until reinforcements arrived, armed with tranquilizers to subdue the enraged leopard seal. The wounded family members were swiftly airlifted by helicopter to the nearest medical facility. Their ordeal far from over. News of the unprecedented leopard seal attack spread like wildfire, capturing the attention of a global audience. The Hendersons, both physically and emotionally scarred, faced a long and arduous road to recovery. As they grappled with nightmares and anxiety, the psychological toll of the ambush lingered, casting shadows over the once joyful memories of their Antarctic adventure. The aftermath extended beyond the personal tragedy endured by the Henderson family. Spurred by the shocking incident, conservationists and marine biologists launched an intensive study into understanding the behavior of leopard seals. This unforeseen encounter became a catalyst for awareness, inspiring a collective effort to preserve the delicate balance of the Antarctic ecosystem. As the incident garnered global attention, the Hendersons found themselves unintentional advocates for wildlife conservation. Their harrowing experience became a cautionary tale, not just for thrill seekers, but for the scientific community, prompting a renewed dedication to the protection of nature's untamed beauty. The medical facility where the Hendersons were taken, nestled in the outskirts of Ushuaia, became a temporary refuge. The wound slowly healed physically, but emotionally the scars ran deep. Typically a pillar of strength, Baker grappled with a newfound vulnerability. Emily, once the fearless wanderer, now faced anxiety-ridden nights, haunted by the relentless echoes of that fateful encounter. The medical team, recognizing the gravity of their experience, not only attended to the physical injuries, but also provided psychological support. Therapists worked tirelessly to guide the Hendersons through the intricate process of recovery, helping them navigate the labyrinth of trauma that threatened to engulf their lives. As the Hendersons began their healing journey, the incident triggered a ripple effect across scientific communities worldwide. Marine biologists convened conferences to analyze the unprecedented aggression displayed by the leopard seal. Questions buzzed through academic circles, and research initiatives were initiated to understand the intricate dynamics of leopard seal behavior, especially in response to human interaction. Back on the Aurora Serenity, investigators meticulously combed through evidence, studying the moments leading up to the attack. The scarred leopard seal became the focal point of numerous discussions, its behavioral nuances dissected with an almost forensic precision. Theories emerged ranging from territorial defense to an inherent fear instilled by past encounters with humans. While the scientific community delved into the intricacies of leopard seal behavior, the Hendersons, now back home, faced the daunting task of rebuilding their lives. Their story, etched in the annals of survival, attracted media attention and societal curiosity. Requests for interviews and appearances flooded in, forcing the family to navigate the delicate balance between sharing their ordeal and maintaining a semblance of privacy. Months passed, and the Hendersons, resilient as ever, sought solace in routine. Baker returned to his architectural projects. Emily resumed her travel blogging with a newfound sense of caution. And Jake and Lily, though scarred, immersed themselves in school and extracurricular activities. Yet the shadows lingered, an unspoken reminder of a chapter that could neither be erased nor rewritten. The scientific community's exploration into leopard seal behavior bore fruit, with published papers and documentaries shedding light on the complex interplay between these marine mammals and the human presence in their habitats. The incident became a beacon, prompting ongoing efforts to establish guidelines for responsible wildlife tourism, especially in delicate ecosystems like Antarctica. In the heart of it all, the scarred leopard seal, tagged and tracked, continued its solitary existence in the Antarctic waters. The encounter with the Hendersons left an indelible mark on its behavior, altering its interactions with humans in unforeseen ways. Armed with newfound knowledge, marine biologists kept a vigilant eye on this sentinel of the seas, observing how it navigated its world with the scars of that day etched into its very essence. Having weathered the storm, the Henderson family became accidental ambassadors for the delicate dance between humanity and the feral wilderness. Their experience, while haunting, had catalyzed a shift in the perception of responsible tourism and wildlife coexistence. As they gradually moved beyond the immediate aftermath, the Hendersons found themselves at the intersection of two worlds. One, the ordinary rhythms of everyday life, and the other, a realm touched by the haunting beauty and unpredictable dangers of the untamed Antarctic wilderness. And so, in the aftermath of the leopard seal's brutal ambush, a tale unfolded that transcended the boundaries of a singular family's experience. It became a narrative woven into the fabric of scientific inquiry, environmental responsibility, and the enduring resilience of the human spirit in the face of nature's untamed might. In the balmy days of July 2001, on the picturesque shores of Darwin, a city framed by the sparkling waters of the Meridian Sea, a tale unfolded that would come to be retold among the fishing circles of Australia. The stage was set for an angler's adventure, and the characters of our story were about to embark on a fishing trip that would become etched in their memories. Our central figure, whose love for fishing surpassed the bounds of ordinary enthusiasm, was now known as Paul Anderson. With the charisma and spirit of a true Aussie, Paul's eyes sparkled with anticipation as he readied himself for a fishing excursion that promised bountiful catches and unforgettable moments. His fishing buddy for this outing, dubbed Jeffrey Wilson, was a seasoned companion. Jeffrey's rugged demeanor bore witness to countless fishing expeditions, and his friendship with Paul had stood the test of time. Together they formed a duo seasoned in the art of angling and well-versed in the tricks of the trade. This maritime adventure's destination was the Meridian Sea, a vast expanse known for its abundant marine life and pristine waters. The lure of reeling in barramundi and other prized catches had drawn them to this nautical playground. The date etched into the annals of their shared experiences was July 2001. The sea was calm and the sun kissed the horizon, glowing their expectant faces warmly. As they cast their lines into the turquoise waters of the Meridian Sea, the promise of a successful fishing trip beckoned. Little did they know that a serpentine surprise awaited them beneath the waves, an encounter that would make this fishing trip more memorable than any they had embarked upon before. Paul and Jeffrey's fishing expedition was well underway as the sun hung low in the sky, casting elongated shadows across the tranquil sea. The Meridian Sea seemed to cradle their boat, and the anticipation of a fruitful catch energized their efforts. Amid the camaraderie and laughter, as they shared stories and contemplated their most recent near-miss with a particularly elusive barramundi, an unexpected guest silently encroached upon their floating sanctuary. In the depths below, a sea snake of considerable length had spied the commotion above the water's surface. Perhaps drawn by the struggling fish's commotion and the fishing line's vibrations, it spiraled up one of the lines and emerged into the realm of anglers. For Paul and Jeffrey, seeing the sea snake was an unexpected surprise. Fearful of harming the sea creature, they initially opted to take a cautious approach, seeking a way to free the snake from their fishing line unscathed. However, their decision would take an unfortunate turn in a fleeting moment of distraction. While Paul searched for scissors to cut the line gently, Jeffrey inadvertently turned his back to the curious sea serpent. In that fateful instant, as the line grew taut with tension and the snake felt cornered, it struck out, biting Jeffrey on the hand. Although devoid of venom, the sting of the sea snake's fangs sent a sharp electric jolt of pain through Jeffrey's hand. Jeffrey initially dismissed it in the wake of the bite, attributing the pain to a harmless encounter. However, as the throbbing intensified the following day, he realized he had been bitten. A trip to the hospital became inevitable as the pain radiated through his hand, and the area around the wound became inflamed. Jeffrey's experience was a stark reminder of the potent venom that sea snakes possess. While his particular assailant had spared him a dose of venom, these creatures were well known for their toxic bite. Dr. Michael Guinea, a marine biologist, emphasized the risks associated with sea snakes, pointing out that they were on par with tiger snakes and western browns regarding venomous potency. Nevertheless, in the case of trawl fishing companies like the one Paul and Jeffrey were part of, strict safety measures and education concerning handling sea snakes were paramount. This was part of why sea snake bites were a rarity in Australian waters. Jeffrey's ordeal, a blend of pain and unexpected circumstances, served as a reminder of the ocean's mysteries. Despite the mishap, the fishing trip still held a special place in their hearts due to the significant catches of barramundi and the enduring memory of a sea snake's surprise appearance. In the days following the sea snake's unexpected visit, Jeffrey's condition deteriorated rapidly. The infection around the bite wound had spread, causing his hand to swell and become increasingly painful. Concerned for his well-being, he decided to seek medical attention. The hospital stay lasted for 2 challenging afternoons as doctors fought to control the infection in his hand. The sea snake's bite had caused intense pain and a severe local infection, which threatened to lead to dire consequences. The attending surgeon emphasized the potential necessity of amputation if the infection continued its relentless march through Jeffrey's hand. Luckily, their medical intervention bore fruit, and the worst-case scenario was narrowly avoided. Though Jeffrey's finger bore a sizable scar, and the memory of the sea snake's bite would forever haunt his fishing exploits, he counted himself fortunate. The choice to seek medical help had been life-saving, a stark reminder that even an encounter with an otherwise benign sea snake could swiftly escalate into a life-threatening situation. Despite the challenges and close call, Jeffrey reflected on their fishing adventure with mixed emotions. Their haul of barramundi, replete with large specimens and the thrill of the hunt, had cemented the journey as a success. The camaraderie between friends and the satisfaction of a great catch provided lasting memories. Still, Jeffrey couldn't help but reflect on the strange twist of fate that had nearly cost him a finger. The sea snake's appearance had added an unexpected layer to their fishing trip, leaving them with a story to tell and a newfound respect for the enigmatic creatures of the deep. In the aftermath of the sea snake incident, Paul and Jeffrey's adventure became a tale of resilience, a testament to the unpredictability of the natural world and the unyielding spirit of those who sought to conquer its challenges. With a finger saved and stories to share, they returned to the waters, knowing that the ocean's depths held both wonder and potential danger, waiting to reveal their secrets to those who dared to explore. In the sun-drenched waters off the coast of South America in 2005, Hermanus's small but bustling town was at the heart of an event that would soon capture the world's attention. Hermanus, known for its whale-watching and picturesque cliffs, was about to be etched into the annals of history for a far more thrilling reason. Daniel Archer was at the center of this impending drama, a name synonymous with blockbuster hits and breathtaking stunts performed without the safety net of a stunt double. Daniel, with his chiseled features and a smile that could disarm the sternest critic, was not just an actor. He was an adrenaline enthusiast, always looking for the next heart-stopping challenge. The celebrity world buzzed with anticipation as Daniel announced his latest feat: cage diving with sharks, an endeavor that would push the limits of his courage and physical endurance. The choice of location, the shark-infested waters off Hermanus, was no accident. These waters were home to some of the most formidable predators of the deep, making it the perfect setting for a spectacle of this magnitude. The preparation for the dive was meticulous, with every detail scrutinized for potential hazards. The cage, constructed from the most robust steel, was designed to withstand a great white shark's powerful jaws and sheer force. Yet, as Daniel would soon discover, nature refused to be underestimated. The day of the dive dawned clear and bright, with the sun casting a shimmering path across the calm sea. On board the charter boat, the mood blended excitement and apprehension. Daniel, ever the professional, exuded quiet confidence, joking with the crew and conducting a final check of his equipment. The cameras were rolling, capturing every moment for the eager audience following from the safety of their homes. As the cage descended into the azure depths, Daniel's eyes adjusted to the dim light, revealing the breathtaking underwater world of Hermanus. Schools of fish darted around the cage, a vivid display of life beneath the waves. Then, without warning, the tranquility was shattered. A shadow loomed large, and the unmistakable silhouette of a great white shark approached, its eyes fixed on the cage. The initial encounter was a dance of predators, with Daniel inside the cage, marveling at the creature's grace and power. The shark circled, its curiosity piqued by the intruder in its domain. Then, in a heartbeat, the situation spiraled into chaos. The shark, perhaps provoked by its reflection or an unseen trigger, launched itself at the cage with ferocious intensity. The impact was a thunderous clang, sending shockwaves through the water and jolting Daniel with the force of a freight train. Panic ensued above the surface as the crew scrambled to respond. Below, Daniel faced the ultimate test of his resolve. The shark, now in a frenzy, battered the cage, each hit testing the limits of the steel bars. In a desperate bid for survival, Daniel utilized his quick thinking and physical agility, evading the shark's attempts to breach the cage. The conflict at the heart of this story was not just man versus beast, but man versus nature, and the inherent desire to push the boundaries of human experience. As minutes stretched into what felt like hours, Daniel and the crew worked feverishly to secure the cage and initiate an emergency ascent. The resolution of this harrowing encounter came with the surfacing of the cage, revealing a visibly shaken but unharmed Daniel. The event, captured in vivid detail, became a testament to the unpredictability of nature and the thin line between thrill-seeking and survival. In the aftermath, Daniel Archer's perspective on life and his pursuit of adrenaline-fueled challenges underwent a profound transformation. The experience, while terrifying, imbued him with a newfound respect for the power and unpredictability of the natural world. It was a reminder that, despite humanity's advancements in bravado, nature remains an indomitable force, commanding respect and caution. The days following the shark cage incident were a whirlwind for Daniel Archer. The footage of his harrowing encounter with the great white shark circulated globally, igniting a media frenzy. Commentators debated the ethics of such stunts. Environmentalists criticized the shark's natural habitat invasion, and fans were split between admiration for his bravery and concern for his reckless pursuit of danger. Yet amidst the cacophony of voices, Daniel found himself in a period of introspection, questioning the path that had led him to the brink of mortality beneath the waves of Hermanus. The incident had been a confrontation with a formidable predator, his mortality, and the transient nature of fame. Daniel realized that the thrill he sought in danger was a fleeting remedy for the deeper longing for significance in a world captivated by the next big sensation. This realization was the beginning of a transformative journey for the actor. Daniel's recovery from the ordeal was not just physical but psychological. He dedicated himself to advocacy for marine conservation, using his platform to instill awareness about respecting and preserving nature. His experience with the shark had unveiled a profound connection to the ocean's inhabitants, transforming his former pursuit of thrills into a quest for understanding and coexistence. Meanwhile, the small town of Hermanus experienced an unexpected surge in tourism as people from around the globe flocked to the site of Daniel Archer's infamous dive. Local businesses thrived, and the town became a focal point for discussions on wildlife tourism and the ethical treatment of animals. The incident had inadvertently brought attention to the town, highlighting its natural beauty and the delicate balance between human activity and environmental preservation. As for Daniel, his return to the world of cinema was met with anticipation and curiosity. His next project, a film inspired by his encounter, aimed to capture the beauty of the ocean and the pivotal moments that can alter the course of a life. The film departed from the high-octane action roles that had defined his career, showcasing a vulnerability and depth that resonated with audiences worldwide. It was a testament to his growth as an individual and artist, drawing from the depths of personal experience to convey a message of respect for nature and the indomitable spirit of survival. Daniel's story was not the end but a new beginning. The shark cage incident, while a moment of peril, had unveiled a path to redemption and purpose. Daniel Archer's legacy would no longer be defined solely by his roles on screen, but by his commitment to making a difference in the world, advocating for a harmonious coexistence with the natural world. In the end, the celebrity challenge had transcended the confines of a physical feat, evolving into a journey of self-discovery and advocacy. It was a reminder of the power of individual actions to inspire change and the enduring impact of facing one's fears with courage and humility. Daniel's story, marked by suspense, danger, and ultimately transformation, would remain a compelling narrative of the human experience, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of the unpredictable forces of nature. David Miller's vacation to the Great Barrier Reef in Australia was supposed to be a serene escape from his hectic life as a marketing consultant in Sydney. The allure of the reef, with its vibrant marine life and crystal-clear waters, had beckoned him for years. Finally succumbing to his longing, David booked a week-long stay at a remote resort on one of the many picturesque islands dotting the reef. On his first morning at the resort, David woke up before dawn. The excitement of being in such a pristine environment, far from the noise and bustle of the city, had filled him with an uncharacteristic energy. He started his day with a swim to connect with the natural beauty surrounding him. The sun was just beginning to rise, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange as David made his way to the beach. The air was fresh and cool, a gentle breeze rustling the leaves of the palm trees. The beach was deserted at this early hour. The only sounds were the gentle lapping of the waves and the distant calls of seabirds. David stood at the water's edge, taking in the serene beauty of the dawn. He felt a sense of peace wash over him, starkly contrasting his usually hectic life. With a deep breath, he waded into the water, the coolness of the ocean a pleasant shock to his system. As he swam, David marveled at the clarity of the water. He could see the sandy bottom, small fish darting around his legs, a world of life beneath the surface. He swam further out, relishing the feeling of freedom, the weightlessness of being enveloped by the ocean. After about 20 minutes of swimming, David decided to head back to shore. He had a full day ahead, with plans to go snorkeling on the reef and try his hand at diving. Turning back, he noticed a school of fish in the distance, their silver bodies glinting in the morning light. They seemed agitated, hurrying in a way that seemed unusual. Curious, David paused to watch them treading water. Then he felt a sudden shift in the water, a sense of something moving swiftly beneath him. His heart rate quickened, a mix of excitement and a hint of apprehension. He knew the reef was home to many creatures, but he hadn't expected to encounter anything significant on his early morning swim. The movement in the water grew closer, and David could now see a dark shape approaching. At first he thought it might be a dolphin, a common sight in these waters. But as it neared, he realized this was no dolphin. It was much larger, its movements more deliberate. A chill ran down his spine as the shape became clearer. A shark's sleek body easily cut through the water. Panic surged through David. He knew he needed to remain calm, that frantic movements could attract the shark's attention. But being alone, far from shore, with a shark approaching, was a situation he was wholly unprepared for. The shark circled him, its large dark eyes seeming to assess him. David tried to recall everything he had ever read or heard about shark encounters. He kept his movements slow, making himself appear less like prey. He knew he had to return to shore, but the distance seemed insurmountable. As he started to swim back, keeping his movements deliberate and even, the shark continued to circle. David's mind raced with thoughts of his family, his friends, and the life he had yet to live. He wondered if anyone had noticed he was missing, and if anyone would come looking for him. The sun had fully risen, its light sparkling on the water, starkly contrasting the fear and uncertainty that gripped David. He swam with desperation and caution, every stroke a silent prayer for safety. As David neared the halfway point to the shore, the shark abruptly changed its behavior. With a sudden burst of speed, it darted towards him. David's heart leaped into his throat. In a split second, he made a decision. He stopped swimming and held his ground, or rather his water. He had read somewhere that sharks might lose interest if their prey doesn't act like one. The shark circled him once more and then swam away into the depths with a powerful flick of its tail. The relief David felt was short-lived. As he resumed swimming, the shark returned, approaching him from below. David felt a sharp pain in his leg as the shark's teeth grazed him. A warning bite, not a predatory one. The shark was curious, not necessarily intent on attacking, but even a curious shark was dangerously unpredictable. Bleeding and in pain, David pushed through the shock. He knew he had to keep moving despite the throbbing in his leg. The shore was closer now, but each stroke felt agonizingly slow. He focused on the rhythm of his breathing, trying to keep calm in the face of fear and pain. Finally, David reached the shallow waters. He stumbled out of the ocean, dragging himself onto the sand, away from the water's edge. He collapsed, breathing heavily, looking at his injured leg. The bite was deep, but had missed any major arteries. He was lucky. He looked back at the ocean, the sun now fully up, its rays glittering on the surface like countless diamonds. It was hard to reconcile the scene's beauty with the terror he had just experienced. A jogger out for a morning run spotted David and immediately came to his aid, calling for emergency services. As David waited, he couldn't help but think about the shark. It was a creature of its environment, acting on instinct. He didn't feel anger or hatred towards it. Instead, there was an odd sense of respect. He had intruded into its world, and it had asserted its presence. The paramedics arrived swiftly and tended to David's wounds. The bite required stitches, and he was given a tetanus shot and antibiotics to prevent infection. His physical injuries would heal, but David knew that the psychological impact of the encounter would stay with him. At the resort, David spent time recovering and reflecting on his experience. He had always respected the ocean, but now his respect was coupled with a deeper understanding of its wild nature. The shark encounter was a stark reminder of how unpredictable and powerful the natural world could be. The following days, David sat on the beach watching the waves. He didn't venture back into the water, not yet. He needed time to process what had happened. But he knew that this experience wouldn't deter him from swimming or diving in the future. It was a part of who he was, a connection to nature he couldn't deny. David felt mixed emotions as he prepared to leave the Great Barrier Reef. What had started as a tranquil vacation had turned into a life-changing ordeal. He was going home with a scar that would forever remind him of the encounter. But more importantly, he was going home with a renewed sense of awe for the ocean and its inhabitants, a reminder of how precious and precarious life could be. David's experience at the Great Barrier Reef was a testament to nature's unpredictability and the human spirit's resilience. It was an encounter that he would never forget, a story of survival, respect, and the enduring power of the natural world. Axel Todd's much-anticipated African vacation to one of the enchanting islands in Guinea-Bissau held the promise of a dream vacation. After meticulously saving funds for this long-awaited adventure, the 47-year-old Danish man embarked on a journey that would unfold a tale of unforeseen challenges and the resilience of the human spirit. He commenced the exciting journey from the bustling airport in Denmark. Boarding a plane, Axel eagerly anticipated the West African charm awaiting him in Guinea-Bissau. Soon he found themselves landing in Bissau, the capital, ready to explore the vibrant local culture. Keen to experience the full spectrum of Guinea-Bissau's beauty, Axel promptly booked accommodations on Bubakwe Island, one of the gems of the Bajagos archipelago. The island's tranquil ambiance and cultural richness promise an authentic adventure. After settling into the island retreat, the Danish traveler wasted no time immersing himself in the local scene. Navigating the bustling markets, he savored the tantalizing aromas and flavors of grilled fish and cassava-based delights, engaging with the warm Bissau Guinean community. Axel found solace in the warm embrace of the locals. The allure of Africa had beckoned him, and he intended to savor every moment of his extended stay in this captivating continent. Little did he know that his time in Bubak would be abruptly curtailed, rewriting the narrative of his vacation in ways he could never have imagined. Embracing the maritime essence of Guinea-Bissau, Axel embarked on boat trips between the archipelago's islands. The azure waters provided a stunning backdrop to exploring pristine beaches and mangrove forests. Axel was eager to participate in various local competitions. Despite showcasing his paddling skills in the canoe races, he couldn't win against the experts. Axel spent the first 2 days canoeing until the third day, when he joined the locals in football matches. As the week unfolded, Bubakwe hosted a traditional fishing competition. Axel, guided by his local guide, who helped him in translation, learned the art of fishing. Fortune smiled upon him during the match as he landed the second-largest catch. In celebration, he was gifted the island's cultural attire, With infectious joy, he danced to the rhythm of the local music, becoming an honorary participant in the island's traditions. The turning point in Axel's African odyssey occurred a few days after the festivities. He strolled through the shallow waters around 10 feet from the shore on a seemingly ordinary day. The rhythmic lull of the ocean waves provided a soothing sound to his leisurely walk. However, fate had a sting for Axel on that fateful day. As he waded through the shallows, a sudden searing pain jolted through his left ankle. In an instant, the blissful atmosphere transformed into a scene of distress. A stingray concealed beneath the sand had struck, injecting venom into Axel's ankle. The intensity of the pain was immediate, coursing through his veins like a vicious current. Limping ashore, Axel cared for the island's locals, their faces etched with concern for their guests. A local sailor stepped forward to aid the distressed traveler in a display of collective compassion. Drawing from traditional knowledge, the sailor embarked on an unconventional yet earnest attempt to mitigate the venom's effects. With an audacious determination, he leaned down, attempting to suck out the venom from Axel's wound. An ancient practice, a blend of desperation and the instinct to heal. Undeterred by the situation's complexity, the local sailor went further. In a display of resourcefulness, he brought forth an unknown plant root, a remedy passed down through generations. Chewing the plant, he concocted a makeshift antidote, applying it to the wound with a compression band. Axel, caught in the cross-currents of pain and gratitude, witnessed a blend of modern and traditional methods converging in a race against time. The islanders, driven by a communal spirit, rallied around the Danish visitor, bridging cultural gaps in a shared pursuit of healing. As the unknown plant root and the sailor's unconventional remedy took effect, a gradual relief washed over Axel. The ordeal had been a stark reminder of the delicate balance between the allure of nature and its latent dangers. The plant root, a mysterious balm from the island's botanical arsenal, had seemingly woven its magic. The compression band, a makeshift tourniquet of sorts, was removed, revealing a wound that, while undoubtedly harrowing, seemed to be on the path to recovery. Days turned into nights, and Axel reveled in the gradual subsiding of the agony that had punctuated that ill-fated stroll along the beach. Perhaps it was the human body's resilience or the enigmatic healing properties of the island's flora. Still, Axel dared to believe that he had narrowly escaped the clutches of a nasty fate. However, fate had more in store for the Danish adventurer. On the fourth day post-sting, Axel was trapped in a new battle that unfolded within the confines of his own body. A high fever gripped him, accompanied by relentless shivering, a symphony of symptoms that heralded a sinister turn of events. Initially a canvas of discomfort, the wound had metamorphosed into a breeding ground for infection. Red, swollen, and ominously necrotic, it became a testament to the insidious nature of the stingray's venom. The idyllic memories of Boubaké are now intertwined with the harsh reality of a medical crisis. Axel faced a formidable adversary that defied the island's makeshift remedies. The local treatment that had initially held promise proved inadequate against the advancing infection. Oral antibiotics, the first line of defense, faltered in the face of the relentless bacterial onslaught. Axel, tethered to the unfolding medical drama, was transitioned to intravenous antibiotics, but the defiant wound remained impervious. A decision was made to airlift Axel back to Denmark for advanced medical intervention. The idyllic African island, once a haven of leisure, now receded into the distance as the aircraft carried Axel across continents for immediate medical attention. Back on familiar ground, within the sterile walls of a Danish hospital, Axel's odyssey took a new turn. The wound, now a battleground between infection and intervention, underwent surgical scrutiny. As the skilled hands of medical professionals delved into the necrotic tissue, the extent of the challenge became evident. Tissue samples extracted from the wound painted a vivid picture of the assailant's origins. A mixed infection, a sinister collaboration between bacteria typically in the human mouth and the venom from the stingray, revealed the unconventional nature of Axel's medical predicament. The oral intervention by the local sailor, driven by a well-meaning but unwitting instinct, had inadvertently introduced bacteria into the wound. The road to recovery, as Axel discovered, needed to be more swift and straightforward. The wound, a testament to the fragility of human flesh and the tenacity of bacterial foes, resisted the initial onslaught of medical measures. It was a slow, arduous journey marked by surgical cleanings, antibiotic infusions, and the unyielding determination of a man determined to reclaim his health. Months elapsed before Axel Todd could once again tread the familiar corridors of his workplace. Once a source of agony, the wound gradually yielded to the relentless march of medical science and the human body's resilience. Axel's return to normalcy was a testament to the collaborative efforts of medical professionals in Denmark and the unwavering spirit that had sustained him through the ordeal. Remarkably, despite the ordeal that unfolded on the African shores, Axel harbored no resentment towards the continent that had briefly become both sanctuary and battleground. The incident, rather than fostering fear or aversion, became a thread in the rich tapestry of his life. Axel's indomitable spirit, coupled with the collective efforts of those who aided him on the island and in Denmark, triumphed over adversity. Amelia Thornfield, a spirited resident, lived in the quaint coastal town of Mariner's Haven, nestled between rugged cliffs and surrounded by the rhythmic cadence of crashing waves. The residents of Mariner's Haven had always found solace in their beloved haven, where the secrets of the sea were whispered and the winds carried the tales of the past. The summer of 2005 had arrived, and the close-knit community experienced life unfolding in the gentle ebb and flow of tranquility. Amelia, a vibrant woman with a penchant for adventure, reveled in the freedom offered by the seaside. She would spend her days sketching picturesque landscapes, capturing every detail with her skilled hand and keen eye. The vibrant colors and intricate lines would come to life on the canvas, telling stories of nature's beauty and serenity. As the sun set, her evenings would be filled with the joyous laughter of friends gathered around beach bonfires. The crackling flames would dance in the night sky, casting a warm glow on their faces as they shared stories, jokes, and heartfelt conversations. Their laughter would echo through the air, creating a harmonious symphony of happiness and camaraderie. She would feel a deep sense of contentment and fulfillment in those precious moments. The days spent immersed in her art and the evenings spent in the company of loved ones were the perfect balance, creating a life filled with passion, creativity, and cherished memories. She had no idea that a fateful encounter with a marine inhabitant was about to shatter the idyllic facade of her coastal existence. On a sunny afternoon, Amelia emerged from the glistening ocean waters after she had enjoyed a refreshing swim. She strolled along the shore, and as she did, the sun painted the horizon in hues of gold, casting a warm glow on the sands beneath her feet. She was unaware that a solitary sea lion had been basking on the rocks ahead, its sleek form seamlessly blending with the rugged terrain. The locals gave this sea lion the name Neptune and considered it an anomaly in the area. The sea lion, in contrast to its docile counterparts, displayed the evidence of numerous battles that it had engaged in within the vast expanse of the open ocean. Scars told tales of survival as they witnessed the relentless battles against untamed forces lurking beneath the surface. As Amelia approached, the sea lion regarded her with a mixture of curiosity and wariness. Its eyes betrayed the deep intelligence within, revealing the wild heart that beat inside. In a sudden surge of unforeseen instinct, the sea lion perceived a threat emanating from the steadily approaching figure. The sea lion, typically indifferent to human presence, mistakenly perceived Amelia's proximity as a potential threat. It suddenly lunged forward without warning, forcefully snapping its jaws shut, creating a resounding echo that reverberated throughout the tranquil landscape. Amelia was swiftly and brutally attacked, which left her incapacitated on the sandy shore. The tranquil existence that the townsfolk had long taken for granted in Mariner's Haven was abruptly disrupted by the sudden violence, which sent shockwaves reverberating through the community. A group of local fishermen, whom the weathered Captain Tobias Whitman was leading, witnessed the chilling scene from their nearby boat. They reacted with adrenaline-fueled urgency and rushed to the scene, interrupting the sea lion's retreat back into the sea. Amelia was lying unconscious, with her body being battered and torn by the unexpected aggression of the sea lion. Captain Whitman and his crew, who were highly skilled in the ways of the sea, promptly provided first aid to the injured individual. effectively stopping the flow of blood and guaranteeing her survival. The urgency of the situation had united the community, as they were compelled to come together to save one of their own. Amelia got whisked away to the Mariners Haven Coastal Hospital. At the hospital, Dr. Isabella Mercer, the dedicated physician of the town, began her delicate journey of healing. The sea lion inflicted severe wounds, both physically and emotionally, which served as a grim reminder of the delicate balance between humans and the untamed forces of nature. As news of the unprecedented sea lion attack spread, Mariners Haven grappled with a newfound fear that had permeated the air, creating a palpable tension that lingered like a haunting shadow over the once carefree town. Amelia's recovery was transformed into a powerful testament of resilience, as she embarked on a journey intricately intertwined with the collective soul-searching of a community compelled to confront the unpredictable nature of the sea they considered their home. After the incident, Amelia's ordeal transformed into a cautionary tale that served as a warning to others, reminding them not to become complacent when confronted with the unpredictable forces of nature. Once regarded as a wondrous presence on the shores, the sea lion Neptune eventually withdrew to the depths, leaving behind a legacy that inspired awe and trepidation among those who witnessed it. Months had passed, and a gradual return to its serene routine was observed in Mariners Haven. However, the memories of its residents were haunted by the lingering scars of that fateful summer day. The unexpected aggression of the sea lion had left an indelible mark on the coastal town. It served as a reminder that once so peaceful, the tranquil waters could conceal nature's feral forces. This event highlighted the delicate dance necessary to achieve harmony with nature, which required awe and respect. In the sizzling summer of 2003, under the guiding spirit of the adventurous patriarch John Mark, the Andrews family resolved to break free from the shackles of their monotonous existence. John, an accomplished software engineer, yearned for a respite from the humdrum routine, and his enthusiastic wife Sarah, a marine biologist with a passion for the ocean's wonders, readily embraced the notion. Accompanied by their two children, Emma, a cheerful soul full of life, and Ethan, a young mind bubbling with curiosity, they embarked on a journey into the realms of the Antarctic, a voyage destined to unveil the undiscovered depths of the sea. Choosing the luxury of a luxurious cruise, the family found themselves on a magnificent vessel that gracefully sailed through the crystalline waters of the Antarctic Sea. The sun, a radiant orb in the sky, bestowed a golden glow upon the waves, and the Andrews family found themselves captivated by the diverse marine life playing out before their eyes. Pods of dolphins frolicked in the distance, and majestic whales breached the surface, their colossal forms mesmerizing the family. Yet the family's quest for a deeper connection with nature led them to seek a more intimate experience. The azure waters promised an up-close encounter with the secrets hidden beneath the waves. With her profound expertise in marine biology, Sarah regaled her family with tales of the unseen world beneath the ocean's surface. Intrigued by the allure of exploration, the family decided to venture further into the sea through a private boat ride. Navigating through the labyrinth of sea caves and coral reefs, they marveled at the vibrant aquatic life surrounding them. Multicolored fish danced in the water, and elusive sea turtles gracefully glided through the currents. However, unbeknownst to them, they were slowly encroaching upon the territory of the elusive and territorial leopard seals, creatures known for their unpredictable behavior. As the boat ventured deeper into the heart of the leopard seal territory, the once tranquil waters transformed into a stage for a territorial dance. This primal ritual unfolded beneath the serene exterior. The Andrews family, absorbed in the beauty around them, remained blissfully oblivious to the brewing storm beneath the ocean's surface. Suddenly, with a loud crash that shattered the tranquility, a colossal leopard seal launched a ferocious attack, agitated by the perceived intrusion. The boat, caught in the crossfire of nature's fury, capsized with a resounding impact, sending shockwaves through the Andrews family. Panic gripped their hearts as the enraged leopard seal, driven by primal instincts, bit the boat with a force that echoed through the ocean. The chaotic scene that unfolded left the family fighting for survival in the frigid embrace of the sea. desperate pleas for help reverberated across the water, reaching the ears of witnesses on a distant vessel. Intrigued and alarmed by the unfolding drama, the onlookers swiftly reached for communication devices to summon assistance. The marine authorities, alerted by the urgency of the situation, sprang into action. Racing against the relentless current, they navigated through the sea, the distant cries for help serving as a haunting reminder of the untamed forces at play. The rescue operation unfolded as a dramatic battleground between humanity and the wild. In the water tainted with blood, the injured family members clung to life, their struggles echoing through the desolate sea. The marine authorities, armed with tranquilizers, confronted the enraged leopard seal, attempting to divert its attention from the vulnerable family. As the adrenaline-pumping rescue unfolded, the authorities managed to pull the Andrews family from the clutches of the relentless sea. The tranquilized leopard seal, a behemoth subdued, lingered in the distance, a symbol of the delicate balance between human exploration and the untamed forces of nature. The vessels, now steering away from the danger zone, left behind a collective sigh of relief. The Andrews family, battered but alive, found solace in the safety of the rescue boat. The once threatening leopard seal, now tranquilized, served as a testament to the thin line between curiosity and the untamed forces of nature. As the sun lay below the horizon, casting an ethereal glow on the sea, the Andrews family, though physically scarred, reunited in gratitude. The resolution brought relief and reflection as they contemplated the fragile balance between human exploration and the unpredictable nature of the wild. In the aftermath of the harrowing ordeal, John and his family returned home, forever changed by their untamed encounter. Physical wounds healed with time, but the emotional scars lingered, etching a lasting impression on their lives. The untamed dance with the leopard seal served as a poignant reminder of the unforgiving nature of the wild, leaving the family with a newfound respect for the boundaries that separate humanity from the untamed world. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the Andrews family found themselves grappling with the profound impact of their journey into the untamed. Nightmares haunted their sleep, vivid recollections of the chaos and peril that had unfolded beneath the azure surface. The once familiar rhythm of their daily lives was now punctuated by the erratic beat of their hearts, echoes of the untamed dance that had trapped them in the unforgiving depths. With her academic background in marine biology, Sarah delved into research, seeking to understand the behavior of the leopard seals and the intricate dance of territoriality that governed their existence. John, once the stoic figurehead of the family, now found himself contemplating the fragile nature of life and the unpredictable forces that lurked in the world beyond. Emma and Ethan, the resilient souls that weathered the storm, coped in their unique ways. Once a vibrant spirit, Emma immersed herself in art, channeling her emotions onto canvases that echoed the hues of the untamed sea. Ethan, the curious mind that had questioned the very fabric of their reality, sought solace in the pages of books, the written word becoming a sanctuary where the constraints of action could tame the untamed. Yet despite the profound impact, life marched forward. The family found themselves grappling with the mundane intricacies of their existence, a stark contrast to the chaos that had unraveled beneath the ocean's surface. The scars, both seen and unseen, became a silent testimony to their untamed encounter, a constant reminder of the silky dance between humanity and the wild. As the seasons changed, the Andrews family sought solace in the ordinary, the mundane becoming a balm for the wounds that time failed to heal fully. They embarked on a journey of recovery, each step forward a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of untamed adversity. The once harrowing tale of the leopard seal's fury became a story passed down through generations, a cautionary fable shared around campfires and family gatherings. The lessons learned from the untamed encounter became an integral part of the Andrews family legacy, a narrative etched into the very fabric of their existence. And so, as the years unfolded, the untamed encounter with the leopard seal became more than a mere memory. It morphed into a living testament to the intricacies of the human spirit, a story that transcended the boundaries of time and space. The untamed dance had left an indelible mark on the Andrews family, forever intertwining their lives with the untamed forces that governed the wild. In the quiet moments of reflection, as the family gathered around the hearth of their shared history, they found solace in the fact that they had emerged from the untamed abyss not as victims, but as survivors. The journey into the unknown had left them scarred yet resilient, forever bound by the untamed dance that had tested the limits of their humanity. As the sun lay below the horizon, casting its golden glow on the world, the Andrews family stood united, their gaze fixed on the untamed horizon that stretched before them. The journey into the unknown had irrevocably changed them, leaving behind a legacy of untamed resilience that would echo through the corridors of time. In 2010, the small coastal town of Seabrook, nestled between the rugged cliffs and the vast, relentless Atlantic, became the unlikely center of a story that would soon captivate the world. Seabrook was known for its picturesque beaches, close-knit community, and sea legends as deep and wondrous as the waters. But beyond the postcard-perfect views, Seabrook harbored a wonder that would unravel through the experiences of a young man named Ethan Shaw. Compared to others in Seabrook, Ethan was not content with merely observing the ocean's surface. From a young age, he felt a profound connection with the sea, particularly with its most misunderstood inhabitants, sharks. His ability to understand and communicate with these creatures was something of local folklore, a talent many dismissed as a fanciful tale spun by the Shaw family. Yet Ethan's bond with the sharks was undeniable, a connection that went beyond science and entered the realm of the extraordinary. The tranquility of Seabrook was shattered when a new species of shark, far more formidable and aggressive than any seen before, began to frequent its waters. This shark, dubbed the Phantom by locals due to its elusive nature, was unlike any other. It was not just its size or the ferocity that set it apart, but an intelligence in its eyes that seemed almost human. Ethan, intrigued and concerned by the arrival of the Phantom, saw it as a challenge and a duty. He believed that through understanding, he could bridge the gap between fear and coexistence. His first encounter with the Phantom was nothing short of electrifying. The shark seemed to peer into Ethan's soul with its jet-black eyes, setting the stage for a relationship that defied explanation. The presence of the Phantom soon became a problem. Incidents with swimmers and local fishermen escalated, casting the town into a state of fear. The calls for action grew louder, pushing the town's leadership to consider drastic measures that could endanger all shark species around Seabrook. Ethan stood at a crossroads. On one side was the town he loved and its people. On the other, there were the misunderstood creatures he felt bound to protect. His attempts to advocate for a balanced approach were brushed aside, as fear had clouded judgment, driving a wedge between Ethan and his community. The tension reached a boiling point when a group of fishermen, driven by fear and frustration, took to the sea with the intent to hunt down the Phantom. Ethan knew he had to act. In a daring move, he set out to find the Phantom before the fishermen did, hoping to guide it away from the town's waters. Ethan's search for the Phantom led him deep into the ocean, farther than ever. When he finally found the shark, the encounter was unlike any he had experienced. Ethan Shaw's dangerous encounter with the formidable and elusive shark, the Phantom, was pivotal in his journey as the Shark Whisperer. With its jet-black eyes, the Phantom seemed to peer directly into Ethan's soul, acknowledging his presence with an almost human intelligence. Despite its formidable reputation and aggressive demeanor known to the locals, the shark showed an unexpected understanding of Ethan. This moment of mutual recognition began an unlikely alliance between man and beast. Through a silent, profound communication that went beyond words, Ethan was able to convey his intentions to the Phantom. Remarkably, the shark seemed to comprehend Ethan's efforts to protect it and the other marine life, and mitigate the conflict between the shark and the people of Seabrook. This extraordinary encounter was a stage for their collaboration, steering clear of fishermen and leading other sharks away from populated beaches, showcasing a rare harmony between humans and sharks. In the following days, Ethan and the Phantom worked together, steering clear of the fishermen's boats and leading other sharks away from the populated beaches. It was a sight that few would believe. A young man and a fierce shark, side by side in the open sea. The efforts of Ethan and the Phantom gradually reduced the incidents, allowing fear to subside and giving Ethan a platform to educate his community about sharks and their importance to the ocean's ecosystem. The town of Seabrook, once divided, began to see the value in coexistence and understanding. The phantom, perhaps sensing that its presence was no longer a threat, disappeared into the depths of the Atlantic, leaving behind a legacy that would forever change Seabrook. Now hailed as the Shark Whisperer, Ethan dedicated his life to marine conservation, ensuring that the bond between humans and sharks, forged through understanding and respect, would endure. The story of Ethan Shaw and the Phantom became a testament to the power of empathy and the importance of conservation. Seabrook, once a town gripped by fear, emerged as a beacon of hope, a place where the legends of the sea were not just tales of fear, but stories of harmony between man and nature. Ethan's journey, marked by courage and an unwavering belief in the bond between humans and sharks, reminded us all that even the most ferocious creatures have a place in our world, deserving of respect and protection. In the shimmering waters of Playa del Carmen, Mexico, were a diver's paradise, known for their clear visibility and abundant marine life. It was here in the summer of 2023 that 17-year-old Diego Martinez embarked on an adventure that would test his courage and resilience in ways he never imagined. Diego, a local teenager passionate about the sea, grew up on the tales of sunken treasures and mysterious shipwrecks told by his retired fisherman grandfather. These stories had fueled Diego's fascination with diving, and he had spent years honing his skills, exploring the underwater world that lay just off the coast of his hometown. On this particular day, the sun was high, casting a golden glow over the sea. Diego and his dive buddy, Luis, a seasoned instructor, planned to explore an old shipwreck, a site known to few and shrouded in mystery. The ship, a cargo vessel from the late 20th century, had sunk under mysterious circumstances and now lay at the bottom of the ocean, a relic of the past. As they prepared their gear, Diego felt a surge of excitement. He had dived many times before, but the allure of a shipwreck was something else entirely. It was like stepping into history, touching a story lost to the sea. Luis noticed Diego's enthusiasm and cautioned him to stay close and keep an eye on his surroundings, reminding him that shipwrecks can be unpredictable. The dive began smoothly. Diego and Luis descended into the crystal-clear waters, their bubbles trailing behind them like a string of pearls. The shipwreck appeared, a haunting silhouette against the sandy ocean floor. Fish of all colors darted around the structure, and for a moment Diego was lost in the beauty of it all. They explored the wreck, weaving through the skeletal remains of the ship. Diego's eyes were wide with wonder as he imagined the stories hidden within these rusted walls. He could almost hear the echoes of the past, the hustle and bustle of the ship's crew, now replaced by the murmur of the sea. As they moved around to the darker side of the wreck, a sudden movement in the peripheral of Diego's vision caught his attention. He turned, expecting to see a curious fish or sea turtle. Instead, he stared into a bull shark's cold, unblinking eyes. The shark, easily over 8 feet long, glided through the water with an effortless grace that belied its power. Diego's heart pounded in his chest, a rapid drumbeat in the silent underwater world. He remembered Luis's words about staying calm, but the presence of the shark, so close and so real, sent a wave of panic through him. He signaled to Luis, who had already seen the shark. They knew they needed to ascend, but it had to be done slowly to avoid decompression sickness. The shark, perhaps curious or territorial, began to circle them, its sleek body quickly cutting through the water. Diego's mind raced. He knew bull sharks were unpredictable. Every second under the water with this apex predator felt like an eternity. He focused on his breathing, trying to keep it steady, his eyes never leaving the shark. As they began their slow ascent, the shark suddenly darted towards Diego, its powerful body moving with a frightening speed. Diego's training kicked in as the bull shark charged towards him in that split second. He knew better than to panic or make sudden movements, which could further provoke the shark. Instead, he tried to make himself appear larger and less like prey, spreading his arms and keeping his eyes fixed on the shark. The shark's attack was swift and terrifying. It snapped its jaws near Diego's leg, its teeth grazing the neoprene of his wetsuit. Pain seared through Diego's calf as the shark's teeth cut into his skin, but miraculously the bite was shallow. The shark, perhaps dissuaded by the taste of neoprene or Diego's defensive posture, veered away, disappearing into the blue depths. Adrenaline surged through Diego's body, dulling the pain in his leg. He knew he was lucky. The injury could have been much worse. Luis quickly assessed the situation, signaling for an immediate ascent. Every movement was agony for Diego, but he focused on the surface, willing himself to stay conscious. As they ascended, Luis kept a vigilant watch for the shark, but it seemed their encounter was over. When they finally broke the surface, the relief was overwhelming. Luis immediately called for help on the dive boat's radio, while administering first aid to Diego's leg. The boat arrived quickly, the crew's faces etched with concern as they helped Diego aboard. The wound on his leg was bleeding, but it was not life-threatening. As the boat sped back to shore, Diego lay there, the reality of what had happened sinking in. He had come face to face with one of nature's most formidable predators and had survived. Back on shore, Diego was rushed to the hospital. The wound required stitches, but he was in stable condition. However, the incident was more than a brush with danger. It was a life-altering experience for Diego. As he recovered, he spent long hours reflecting on the encounter. For all its beauty, he realized that the ocean was also a wild and unpredictable place. His respect for marine life deepened, and he became more determined to advocate for ocean conservation and shark awareness. The experience also strengthened Diego's resolve to continue diving. He understood the risks, but the ocean was a part of his identity. He couldn't imagine his life away from it. His story became a source of inspiration for others, a tale of survival and respect for the natural world. Months later, Diego returned to the water. His first dive after the incident was filled with mixed emotions, fear, excitement, and profound gratitude. As he descended beneath the waves, he felt a sense of peace. The ocean welcomed him back, its vastness a reminder of how small and yet significant each life is in the grand tapestry of nature. Diego continued to explore the underwater world, his passion undimmed by the encounter. He advocated for shark conservation, using his story to educate others about the importance of these misunderstood creatures in the marine ecosystem. His experience with the bull shark was not just a story of survival. It was a journey of understanding and respect, a reminder that we are all connected in the delicate balance of life on Earth. In the vast expanse of the North Atlantic, where the horizon seemed to stretch endlessly in all directions, a sense of tranquility enveloped the crew of the maritime vessel, the Aurora. Captain William Henderson, a weathered mariner with a lifetime of stories etched into his sun-kissed skin, led this motley crew of dedicated sailors on the 14th of May, 1999. The Aurora was a stout and reliable vessel known for its many successful voyages across the open sea. The crew, each with their unique role, had learned to navigate the fickle waters of the North Atlantic with skill and determination. Among the crew were two individuals whose destinies would soon intertwine with an unexpected and formidable force of nature. John Mitchell, a seasoned sailor known for his fearlessness in the face of the open ocean, had earned the nickname Braveheart among his shipmates. He was a man of few words, but his actions spoke volumes. On the other hand, Emily Turner embodied strength and determination in a world often dominated by men. With a mane of fiery red hair and a spirit as wild as the sea, she had earned the respect of her fellow sailors as the ship's navigator. Her precision and knowledge of the stars had guided the Aurora safely through countless voyages. As they sailed further into the North Atlantic, the crew's eyes were drawn to the tranquil waters. The day was serene, with the sun casting a radiant golden path across the rippling surface of the ocean. It was a sight that filled their hearts with a sense of wonder, a fleeting respite from the demanding life of seafaring. Yet the sea was not without its secrets, its mysteries hidden beneath the shimmering waves. Among the creatures that dwelled in these waters, the common minke whale reigned as one of the most enigmatic. With its sleek body and sharply pointed snout, it defied the conventions of its more prominent and reclusive kin. Unlike most whales that chose to remain elusive, the common minke whale often defied convention, approaching ships and revealing itself to those who ventured across its realm. Its tendency to come vessels made it a more visible presence in the vastness of the North Atlantic, a characteristic that both captivated and confounded sailors. These gentle giants of the deep, equipped with comb-like baleen plates, were filter feeders, sifting nourishment from the ocean's depths. Fish, krill, and squid comprised their diet, a testament to the abundance of life in the North Atlantic's fertile waters. But as nature's eternal cycle dictated, even the common minke whale had its adversary, killer whales, known for their relentless pursuit of prey. In the present day, whalers cast their eyes upon the common minke whale as one of the most sought-after species. The whaling industry, a lucrative venture in the modern era, had brought this species under the scrutinizing gaze of mariners seeking their fortune in the whale's valuable resources. The crew of the Aurora, however, was not comprised of whalers. They sailed these waters for other purposes, their hearts set on a different destiny, and the common minke whale would soon play a role in their story, an unexpected chapter in seafaring life. As the Aurora glided through the calm waters of the North Atlantic, its crew was blissfully unaware of the impending encounter that would soon alter the course of their voyage. A thunderous roar erupted beneath the waves, sending shockwaves through the ship's timbers. With their faces twisted in astonishment and fear, the sailors clung to anything that would keep them upright on the heaving deck. In the heart of the explosive turmoil that had erupted, John Mitchell and Emily Turner stood side by side, their eyes wide with disbelief. They were in the epicenter of chaos as the sea around them churned into a frothy rage. The source of the tumult was soon revealed, a behemoth of the deep, a creature so massive that it defied the imagination. It was the common minke whale, a species known for its relatively peaceful nature. Yet at that moment it had transformed into an embodiment of fury. With a colossal breach, the common minke whale erupted from the depths, its massive body soaring like a leviathan of old. The impact of the common minke's breach reverberated through the ship, causing it to sway perilously. Barrels of supplies tumbled and crashed, and rigging groaned under the strain. It was as if the sea itself had unleashed an explosive force in the form of this awe-inspiring creature. Amid the chaos, Emily Turner's navigational instincts kicked in. She knew that their very survival depended on maintaining their course and composure. With a determined look, she barked orders to the crew, ensuring they maintained control of the ship despite the relentless turbulence. John Mitchell, living up to his moniker of Braveheart, joined the efforts. He and the crew worked tirelessly to secure the ship's stability. It was a battle against the elements, a struggle to retain dominion over the vessel they had come to cherish. But the common minke whale, driven by forces known only to itself, was unrelenting in its assault. Time and again it emerged from the depths, its colossal body colliding with the ship's hull with an earth-shattering impact. The Aurora shuddered, and the crew's determination wavered as the sea monster's fury raged on. It was as if the common minke whale had become a force of nature, a disruption of the deep that defied all expectations. The sailors, once captivated by its serene beauty, now faced a relentless and unforgiving adversary. The battle between sailors and sea creatures raged, a struggle that would test their mettle and resourcefulness. The common minke whale, a creature of grace and peace, had become a formidable foe, and the fate of the Aurora hung in the balance. The common minke whale, undeterred by the crew's resistance, continued its relentless assault. With each breach, it seemed to grow more determined, as if it harbored a personal vendetta against the Aurora. The very nature of the attack defied explanation. Amidst the tumultuous battle, tragedy struck with a crushing blow. One of the crew, a seasoned sailor known as Samuel "Sam" Davies, found himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. As the common minke whale again breached, its colossal body struck the ship's hull with unparalleled force. The impact was devastating. Sam Davies, caught amid the chaos, was thrown overboard by the sheer violence of the collision. He disappeared beneath the churning waves, his fate sealed by the relentless fury of the sea creature. The crew of the Aurora could only watch in horror as the unforgiving sea claimed their comrade. They had fought bravely against an adversary they could never have foreseen, and now they had to confront the heart-wrenching reality of their loss. Emily Turner, her eyes filled with sorrow, called for the crew to cease their struggle. It was a moment of mourning for their fallen comrade, to honor the sacrifice of a sailor who had braved the storm alongside them. John Mitchell, Braveheart no more, lowered his head in solemn remembrance. The sea had taken one of their own, and it was a stark reminder of the ever-present perils of a sailor's life. In the remote waters off the Northern Territory coast of Australia, where the horizon stretches endlessly and the sea dances with untold mysteries, a group of brave fishermen pursued their livelihoods. Among them was James Walker, a 25-year-old British national hailing from the coastal town of Portsmouth, who had ventured across the globe to chase his dream of becoming a trawler fisherman. The scene unfolded in the Topaz Tide Bay, a vast and unpredictable expanse of water that had witnessed its share of mundane and extraordinary stories. On board the trawler Ocean Voyager, James was living out his passion. He had left the shores of England in pursuit of adventure and the thrill of the open sea, and this remote Australian outpost had become his new home. But the sea, with all its beauty and secrets, also harbored dangers lurking beneath the surface. The Topaz Tide Bay was known for its diverse marine life, including various sea creatures that navigated its depths. Among them, the sea snake held a particular place, a mysterious resident of these waters. While enigmatic and often overlooked, sea snakes were unique in these oceans. For James, they were an intriguing part of his daily encounters as a trawler fisherman. While not as menacing as some marine predators, they possessed an aura of mystique, and their nasty bite was well documented. The sea sparkled with promise as the sun bathed the trawler's deck in warm light on a fateful morning on the 22nd of August 2000. James and his fellow fishermen performed their tasks, precisely casting nets into the water. They were in their element, living life on the edge of the ocean's embrace. Amid the camaraderie and laughter, little did they know that their daily routine was about to take a tragic turn. As James and his crewmates pulled up the net, a sea snake, typically uninterested in human encounters, had become ensnared. The serpent, threatened by the sudden disruption to its world, lashed out in fear, its venomous fangs finding an unintended victim. The moment was both swift and unexpected. The sea snake's bite, rare in these waters, pierced James's skin, delivering its potent venom. The young fisherman's life took an unforeseen and dangerous trajectory as the trawler continued its work. During this tranquil setting, the tranquility was shattered by the venom's entry into James's bloodstream. The sea snake had inadvertently unleashed a deadly menace with its glistening scales and alien beauty. Once cheerful and carefree, the crew faced a crisis they were ill prepared for. As the hours unfolded and James's condition deteriorated, his fellow fishermen raced against time to secure medical assistance. They called for help from the remote seas, knowing that the vast expanse that had once seemed their sanctuary was now a formidable adversary. As the trawler sped towards the nearest coast with an ailing James on board, the gravity of the situation became all too apparent. James's condition worsened rapidly. The crew, driven by fear and determination, did what they could, providing rudimentary first aid and attempting to keep him stable. In a dire situation without any nearby medical facilities, the crew of the stricken trawler issued an urgent distress call, seeking assistance from nearby maritime authorities. The call triggered a swift and coordinated emergency response. Rescue vessels were dispatched from the mainland to reach the stricken trawler. On board these vessels were medical personnel, prepared to combat the enigmatic peril that had befallen James. The rescue vessels eventually reached the trawler, and a team of professionals went to work. James was quickly transferred to a medical facility where anti-venom was administered in a race to counteract the venom's deadly effects. The crew of the rescue vessel fought valiantly to stabilize his condition. But the road ahead was fraught with peril. Although rarely encountered, the sea snake's venom possessed a potency that challenged even the most skilled medical experts. It attacked James's nervous system, affecting his breathing and circulation, while the clock ticked unforgivingly. Despite their determined efforts, James's battle with the venom ultimately took a devastating turn. His young life, filled with dreams of adventure, was cruelly cut short. The venom's insidious grasp had proven too formidable. On that fateful day in the Topaz Tide Bay, James Walker became a tragic testament to the unpredictable dangers of the sea. His death, marked by a poignant sense of loss, left his family and friends in the UK shattered. From the shores of Portsmouth to the depths of the bay, his journey was tragically brief. The waters of the topaz-tide bay, while a place of wonder and beauty, had revealed their erratic nature. Sea snakes, mysterious residents of these waters, had silently unleashed a menace that claimed a young life. In the aftermath of this tragedy, the sea snake's bite remained a rare and sad reminder that even in the most remote corners of our world, nature's unpredictability can forever alter the course of human lives. Questions arose after James's untimely passing, and marine biology and snake behavior experts weighed in. Dr. Laura Reynolds, a marine biologist with expertise in sea snakes, expressed her thoughts on the incident. Dr. Reynolds emphasized that while sea snake bites are relatively rare in Australia, their behavior can be unpredictable. Despite their nasty nature, she pointed out that sea snakes are typically not aggressive towards humans. They often flee when encountering humans, as they are more interested in hunting prey like fish. According to Dr. Reynolds, the venomous sea snakes native to Australian waters usually possess small fangs, making it challenging to deliver a substantial amount of venom through a bite. This partly explains the rarity of fatal sea snake bites in the country. The case of James Walker stood out as an exceptional tragedy, and its circumstances were met with shock and sorrow. His death was a poignant reminder of the inherent risks associated with working in the natural world, even in environments as stunning and captivating as the waters of the topaz-tide bay. As authorities conducted their investigations and sought to understand the specifics of this incident, the broader fishing community in Australia expressed its condolences to James's family and friends. His loss served as a solemn reminder of the hazards those living in the sea face. While this story serves as a testament to the unexpected and sometimes tragic intersections of human and natural worlds, it also celebrates the memory of James Walker, a young adventurer living his dream in a place of natural beauty and wonder. The waters of the topaz-tide bay, with their sea snakes and mysteries, had irrevocably altered the course of one man's journey. As the ripples of this tragedy spread, they echoed across continents, touching the hearts of those who had known him, even as they highlighted the enduring enigma of sea snakes and the unpredictable nature of life itself. In 2010, a serene yet unforgiving expanse of the Pacific Ocean became the setting for an extraordinary tale of survival and camaraderie. A team of young female researchers embarked on a conservation mission to study the effects of climate change on marine life. This group was composed of Dr. Emily Hart, a marine biologist with a deep interest in coral reef ecosystems; Sarah Jennings, an environmental scientist specializing in marine pollution; Lisa Nguyen, a marine geologist; and Rachel Adams, a graduate student in marine conservation, set sail aboard the SS Albatross, a modest research vessel equipped with the latest scientific equipment. Their destination was a remote atoll, largely untouched by human activity, offering a unique opportunity to observe and collect crucial data on the health of marine ecosystems. The atoll was known as Tua's Haven. The haven added an aura of intrigue to their mission, but also served as a grim reminder of the ocean's unforgiving nature. The team shared excitement and purpose as they navigated the vast open waters. They discussed their research, the potential discoveries lying in wait, and the impact their work could have on conservation efforts worldwide. However, their aspirations and dreams were abruptly challenged. 3 days into their journey, an unforeseen menace lurked beneath the surface as the SS Albatross cut through the azure waters. A group of aggressive sharks, giant and displaying erratic behavior, converged on the vessel. The attack was sudden and ferocious. Desperate to fend off the sharks, the team realized their boat had sustained significant damage. Water began flooding in, and communication equipment was lost to the depths, leaving them stranded and miles away from rescue. As their situation set in, the team worked tirelessly to secure what remained of the SS Albatross, creating a makeshift refuge. They rationed their limited supplies, knowing that their survival depended on it. The once vibrant discussions about marine life and conservation were replaced with strategies for staying alive in hostile waters. In the face of aggressive sharks and a rapidly flooding boat, the young researchers' survival depended on swift action, ingenuity, and a deep reserve of collective willpower. Their initial reaction to the flooding was to assess the damage quickly and apply emergency repairs to the hull. They utilized emergency patch kits and improvised with available materials to stem the water ingress. The urgency of these repairs underscored the precariousness of their situation, as the ocean threatened to claim their vessel with each passing moment. As the boat took on water, the team relentlessly tried to bail out the influx with any containers they could repurpose from their equipment. This physically draining task was vital, keeping the boat from sinking and buying them precious time to think of a more sustainable solution. Amidst this chaos, they also faced the added danger of the circling sharks, whose presence constantly reminded them of the ocean's perils. Understanding the need to deter the sharks without causing harm, the researchers drew on their scientific knowledge to devise creative solutions. They attempted to disrupt the sharks' environment, hoping to discourage their interest in the boat. Using reflective materials to create glare and banging on the boat's sides with metal objects, they generated noise and vibrations, hoping to exploit the sharks' sensitivity to sound. Additionally, they concocted a rudimentary chemical deterrent from their research supplies, releasing it into the water to create an uninviting area around their vessel. The dual challenges of managing the flooding and deterring the sharks demanded physical endurance and mental resilience. The team's morale was tested as they navigated the fine line between hope and despair. Their strategies to manage the flooding and deter the sharks were critical, but their unyielding spirit and the bonds they forged in the heart of adversity truly defined their ordeal. The noise created by banging on the boat's hull with metal objects exploited the sharks' sensitivity to sound, making the area around the boat less attractive for the curious predators. Similarly, using reflective materials to create glare on the water's surface aimed to disorient the sharks and discourage them from approaching too closely. Although not a conventional method, the rudimentary chemical deterrent was based on the principle that certain substances can create an aversive sensory experience for sharks, encouraging them to keep their distance. While these strategies did not guarantee permanent safety from the sharks, they effectively created periods during which the sharks' aggressive behaviors were mitigated, allowing the team to focus on survival tasks without constant threat. They faced conflict not just against the sharks or the relentless ocean, but within themselves as they struggled with despair, fear, and the uncertainty of rescue. Their mission of exploration and study had turned into a dire fight for survival, yet in this crucible the bonds between them strengthened. They shared stories of their lives, hopes, and fears, forging connections that only those who have faced mortality together can truly understand. Amidst the vast expanse of the ocean, with their boat partially submerged and supplies dwindling, the team faced the daunting task of survival. Dr. Emily Hart, leveraging her extensive knowledge of marine biology, guided the team in collecting rainwater for drinking and identifying edible marine life that approached their refuge. With her expertise in environmental science, Sarah Jennings improvised solar stills using plastic sheets from their research equipment, providing an additional source of fresh water. Lisa Nguyen meticulously mapped their location using the stars and remaining navigational tools, calculating currents and winds to understand where they might drift. Rachel Adams documented every aspect of their ordeal, from the behavior of the sharks that continued to circle their sanctuary to the team's daily routines and the emotional toll of their predicament. Their scientific minds were their greatest asset, allowing them to approach each challenge logically and creatively. They constructed a signal system with whatever materials were at hand, hoping to catch the attention of any passing aircraft or ships. They fashioned fishing gear from the debris of their boat, ensuring a steady supply of food that supplemented their rations. Each team member took turns watching for potential rescuers and maintaining a vigilant eye on the sharks. These creatures posed a significant threat, a reminder of the ocean's unpredictability and danger. The isolation and a constant battle for survival brought the team closer together. Their conversations, once dominated by scientific discourse, now revolved around personal stories, dreams, and reflections on life. This emotional bonding became their fortress against the despair that threatened to engulf them. In the end, their wait came to a dramatic close. Their breakthrough had come through when Lisa, scanning the horizon, spotted a distant ship. They managed to catch the crew's attention using their improvised signal system. The rescue operation was swift, with the team being brought aboard to the relief and astonishment of their rescuers. The passing cargo ship had veered off its usual route due to a navigational error and stumbled upon the remnants of the SS Albatross. The rescue was nothing short of miraculous, a testament to the unpredictable nature of fate. Back on solid ground, the world learned of their harrowing journey. Their research, though not as initially intended, offered invaluable insights into survival, the depth of human connection, and the indomitable will to persevere against all odds. Their ordeal had changed them in ways they could never have anticipated. They returned to their lives with a renewed purpose and a deeper appreciation for the fragile beauty of the world they had set out to protect. As their story came to be known, the lost expedition served as a poignant reminder of the ocean's power and mystery and the enduring spirit of those who seek to understand it. The world they returned to was eager to hear their story. The media dubbed them the unyielding spirits of the Pacific, a title that, while sensational, captured the essence of their survival. Their research, though unconventional, provided unique insights into human resilience, the dynamics of survival in extreme conditions, and the importance of teamwork in the face of adversity. Each team member returned to their respective fields in the following months, enriched by the ordeal. They gave talks, wrote papers, and participated in documentaries, sharing their stories and lessons learned. Their experience became a case study in survival psychology, team dynamics, and the application of scientific knowledge in crises. Their bonds, forged in the crucible of survival, remained unbreakable. They met regularly, a tradition that continued for years, a constant reminder of their journey and the second chance at life they had been given. The lost expedition was more than a tale of survival. Elowyn Rivers, a spirited woman whose laughter echoed like a melody, embarked on a fateful vacation in the summer of 2010 in the coastal idyll of Eldermere. In this picturesque haven, where the waves whispered tales of vast wonders to the cliffs that stood sentinel over the shores, Elowyn found herself immersed in a world of tranquility and awe. The sea cradled Eldermere, enveloping it in its arms as peace was held by the town, concealing the untamed forces that lurked beneath the cerulean depths. The sun cast its warm embrace over the town, and Elowyn arrived with an eagerness that compelled her to explore the vast wonders of the sea. Eldermere, a town renowned for its harmonious coexistence with marine life, proudly showcased a coastline adorned with rugged cliffs and sandy coves, warmly welcoming all seeking refuge from modern life's overwhelming cacophony. Elowyn, a vibrant young woman with an insatiable zest for life, was irresistibly drawn towards the ocean. She felt her eyes sparkle with anticipation as she explored the charming nooks and crannies of Eldermere. The town, which was rich in maritime history, appeared to be frozen in time, as if it had been a haven where the whispers of the sea were intertwined with the laughter of its inhabitants. One day, Elowyn, fueled by an adventurous spirit, decided to venture into the sea. She was equipped with snorkeling gear and set out to discover the mysteries hidden beneath the waves. The cool embrace of the ocean enveloped her, and she marveled at the kaleidoscope of marine life that danced beneath the surface. However, fate had a different course in mind for Elowyn, as it unfolded like an unpredictable tide. As she explored, her leg was trapped by an unyielding stone crevice on the ocean floor. Elowyn felt a surge of panic as she realized the gravity of her situation. The open sea, which had once served as a playground of curiosity, transformed and became a watery prison. As the depths were traversed, the sunlight filtered through, casting an ethereal glow illuminating the unfolding drama. The vastness of the ocean swallowed Elowyn's cries for help. The sea had extended its welcoming embrace to her, but now it maintained an unyielding hold on her. Elowyn's panic transformed into desperation as she fought against the persistent current, her pleas for assistance growing weaker and weaker amidst the deafening roar of the waves. In the depths below, a territorial sea lion with sleek fur that glistened in the sunlight was detecting the distress calls echoing through the ocean. The sea, which roamed in its underwater realm, interpreted Elowyn's presence as a threat to its sacred domain. Driven by territorial instincts, the sea lion emerged from the depths with a determination that could not be swayed. The conflict between human vulnerability and the primal defense of territory was unfolding in a heart-wrenching tableau. The sea lion, a wild creature, caught sight of Elowyn as she intruded upon its sanctuary, and a struggle ensued between the two beings, symbolizing the delicate balance between human curiosity and the untamed forces that governed the sea. Several witnesses, including Coast Guard personnel, local fishermen, and worried onlookers along the coastline, were seized by fear and helplessness as the heart-wrenching struggle between Elwyn rivers and the territorial sea lion unfolded beneath the turquoise waves. Fearful of the sea lion's territorial aggression, these observers refrained from intervening immediately in the unfolding scenario. Coast Guard personnel, experienced in dealing with maritime situations, kept a safe distance while analyzing the situation and planning a response. Despite their maritime expertise, local fishermen were hesitant to confront the sea lion's unexpected behavior. Meanwhile, onlookers on the coast, their gaze fixated on the tragedy, refrained from wading into the waters, well aware of the danger. Instead, all these witnesses summoned expert assistance, understanding the need for a coordinated rescue operation capable of navigating the complexity of the deadly encounter. As the tragedy unfolded, marine authorities were alerted by the echoes of despair and swiftly rushed to the scene. Initially fueled by hope, the rescue mission eventually transformed into a grim realization as the team encountered the sea lion's territorial aggression. They were greeted by a scene that presented a tableau of horror as the sea lion mercilessly inflicted irreparable harm upon the helpless woman. The media was reverberating with the news of Elwyn's tragic demise, which cast a shadow over Eldermere's serene facade. The town had fully embraced Elwyn as one of its own, cherishing her presence and celebrating her as a vibrant soul who sought nothing more than the simple joys of life. However, now, the town has found itself in a state of mourning as they reflect on the loss of this beloved community member. Elwyn's family was grappling with the weight of grief as they described her as a beacon of happiness that the unforgiving currents of fate had extinguished. The funeral was held in the heart of Eldermere, and it became a sad reminder of the delicate dance humans had experienced and the unpredictable forces of the wild they had encountered. Once regarded as a symbol of beauty and serenity, the coastal cliffs now stood as silent witnesses to a cautionary tale. This story revolved around a woman whose thirst for adventure had driven her into the heart of untamed waters, where the boundary between exploration and peril became blurred. After the devastating events, Eldermere found itself immersed in a profound state of mourning as it grappled with the heart-wrenching loss of Elwyn. Meanwhile, the sea lion, driven by an unwavering sense of duty, had returned to the vast expanse of the sea, assuming its rightful role as a steadfast guardian of its territorial realm. The tragedy left its mark on the town, and the residents grappled with a profound realization. They understood that the sea held species that commanded respect and caution, even in the most enchanting landscapes. The waves continued their eternal dance with the shore, and the memory of Elwyn rivers lingered in the minds of those who witnessed it. It served as a poignant reminder of the untamed forces that lurked beneath the seemingly tranquil surface of the sea. Jamie Cunningham, a 48-year-old father, embarked on a memorable summer holiday with his family in 2018 at a beach in New Zealand. The family of four, including his wife Christine and their two sons, eagerly set out in their Land Cruiser, ready to create lasting memories by the water. They planned to stay in a nearby hotel, relishing at least a week of leisure and enjoyment. Upon their arrival at the pristine beach, Jamie's excitement surged. The crystal-clear waters beckoned, promising days of relaxation and adventure. The family wasted no time and eagerly unpacked, eager to immerse themselves in the beauty of the New Zealand shoreline. With the sun shining brightly overhead, Jamie, donning his swimsuit, led the way for a bodyboarding spree. Fueled by their father's enthusiasm, his two sons eagerly joined him. The beach buzzed with activity as other tourists reveled in the joys of the summer day. The scene was joyful as Jamie and his sons ventured into the water. Little did they know, this idyllic setting was about to take an unexpected turn. The shocking incident occurred when Jamie, amidst the playful bodyboarding, unwittingly crossed paths with a stingray. The tranquil atmosphere suddenly shifted as Jamie felt two sharp, searing stings, one on the left side of his chest and another on his left foot. The pain was intense and immediate, catching him off guard. Confusion and shock gripped him as he grappled with the sudden assault. The sensation was overwhelming, akin to the force of a steel bar striking his ribs beneath the left arm. In a helpless descent, Jamie felt as if his leg crumpled beneath him like a piece of Lego. As he sank, a fleeting image of the stingray flashed before his eyes, the sea creature resembling a whip lurking beneath the water's surface. The beach, once filled with laughter and enjoyment, now bore witness to a sudden and unforeseen event. The stingray attack had transformed the carefree ambiance into urgency and concern. As Jamie grappled with the pain, the realization of the encounter with the formidable sea creature began to sink in. Jamie Cunningham struggled to crawl away from the shoreline, and the pain that radiated from the stingray stings was overwhelming. Christine, Jamie's wife, hurried to his side, her eyes widening in shock and concern. With a voice reflecting heightened anxiety, she questioned the cause of Jamie clutching his ribs. Simultaneously, Jamie, grappling with intense pain, gradually uncovered his hands, revealing an open wound resembling raw meat. Onlookers and fellow beachgoers, initially oblivious to the unfolding drama, began to grasp the severity of the situation. Urgent whispers and concerned glances swept through the crowd as they witnessed the aftermath of the encounter. Their distress didn't go unnoticed by two passers-by, who, as fate would have it, were paramedics. With swift and practiced movements, they assessed the situation, recognizing the severity of Jamie's injuries. Urgency filled the air as they took immediate action to staunch the blood flow, recognizing the critical need for rapid intervention. While one of the paramedics administered aid, the other quickly dialed for an ambulance. Jamie, conscious throughout the ordeal, felt the excruciating pain coursing through his body. The stingray's toxins had begun their assault, making each breath a struggle, and his left foot had swollen to a haunting shade of purple. The pain relief administered, a combination of fentanyl, morphine, and ketamine, provided little to no respite. He remained alert, witnessing the unfolding medical emergency. The ambulance, a beacon of hope in those critical moments, arrived swiftly and transported Jamie to the nearest hospital. The situation's urgency was evident as medical professionals worked tirelessly to address the life-threatening implications of the stingray stings. A tube was inserted to drain fluids from within him, a crucial step in managing the aftermath of the attack. As Jamie lay in the hospital bed, he grappled with the gravity of his injuries. His thorax injury, a rare occurrence, drew the attention of the medical community and featured prominently in a new academic paper. The paper highlighted the challenging nature of stingray venom, noting the absence of an antivenom and emphasizing the limited understanding surrounding this natural phenomenon. The journey to recovery was arduous, marked by heavy medication and assisted breathing, the latter necessitated by a collapsed lung. Jamie's resilience, coupled with life-saving drug treatments, played a pivotal role in his gradual recovery. Initially, the beach encounter was a source of joy and metamorphosed into a survival chapter against the odds. Reflecting on the incident with the media after his recovery, Jamie found a silver lining in the dark cloud that had shadowed their family holiday. He humorously remarked that the stingray attack and subsequent survival made for a captivating pub story with his mates, a tale to be shared over pints, embellished with the incredibility of his ordeal. The tangible evidence of his resilience came as a distinctive scar, a permanent reminder of the unexpected encounter with nature. Despite the ordeal, Jamie assumed a proactive stance, urging parents to remain vigilant when their children frolic at the beach. While acknowledging that stingrays are not typically aggressive, he shared valuable advice. Burying one's feet in the sand when in muddy water creates noise, serving as a deterrent to rays and potentially averting such encounters. Jamie's call for increased awareness served as a testament to the transformative impact of the stingray incident on his perspective. The Cunningham family, forever changed by the events of that fateful day, fully returned home after months at the hospital, with a profound appreciation for the delicate balance between nature's beauty and its potential dangers. The physical and emotional scars would serve as enduring reminders of the fragility of life and resilience in the face of unexpected challenges. In the world-famous surfing destination of Jeffreys Bay, South Africa, the waves are a surfer's dream. Here, beneath the golden African sun, 22-year-old Mia Thompson, an aspiring professional surfer, chased the wave of a lifetime. Mia, with her sun-bleached hair and a spirit as free as the ocean, had come to Jeffreys Bay to compete in a regional surfing competition. Surfing was more than a sport to her. It was a calling. She had grown up on the coast of Durban, riding waves before she could even properly swim. The ocean was her home, her escape, her challenge. On the day of the competition, the beach was buzzing with excitement. Surfers from all over the country had gathered, their boards under their arms, eyes fixed on the rolling waves. Mia felt a familiar thrill as she looked at the sea, its surface shimmering under the morning sun. Her heat was up, and she paddled out, her heart pounding with anticipation. The ocean greeted her like an old friend, its waves nodding in welcome. She felt a sense of peace as she waited for the right wave. Then she saw a perfect swell rising in the distance and coming her way. Mia paddled hard, positioning herself. The wave grew, towering over her, a moving mountain of water. She popped up on her board, finding her balance in a fluid motion. The wave caught her and she was riding it. The world reduced to the rush of water and the wind in her hair. She carved along the face of the wave, every turn a dance with nature. It was exhilarating, the kind of ride that surfers dream of. A dark shadow in the water caught her eye as she neared the end of the wave, ready to pull out. Her heart skipped a beat. Sharks were not uncommon in these waters, but one never expects to encounter them up close. The shadow moved swiftly, its form unmistakable. A shark, and not a small one. Adrenaline surged through Mia. Her initial instinct was to panic, but her years of experience in the ocean kicked in. She knew that staying calm was crucial. The shark, possibly a great white, was just a few meters away, its dorsal fin slicing through the water. Mia's mind raced. She had to get back to shore, but she couldn't just jump off her board and swim. That would make her more vulnerable. Her best chance was to stay on her board and paddle back as smoothly and quickly as possible. She turned her board towards the beach, paddling with steady strokes. Her eyes were fixed on the shore, but she was acutely aware of the shark's presence. It seemed to be following her, a silent, ominous escort. The distance to the beach felt like miles. A mix of fear and determination fueled every stroke. Mia's arms ached, but she didn't dare stop. The shark remained a constant shadow, its intentions unclear. The shark veered away as she approached the shallows, disappearing into the depths. Mia didn't stop until her board hit the sand. She stumbled onto the beach, her legs weak, her lungs burning for air. Unaware of her silent battle, the crowd cheered at her spectacular ride. Mia stood on the sand, her surfboard under her arm, trying to steady her shaking hands. The cheers from the crowd faded into a distant hum as she processed what had just happened. The encounter with the shark had been a stark reminder of the ocean's unpredictability, a force that demanded respect and caution. Her friends and fellow competitors rushed towards her, their faces alight with excitement, oblivious to the danger she had just faced. The event organizers soon announced the winners. Mia had scored high with her wave, but today, her brush with danger overshadowed the thrill of victory. As the crowd dispersed and the beach began to empty, Mia sat down, her eyes tracing the horizon. The sun was beginning to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. Mia thought about the shark, about how it had followed her, yet hadn't attacked. It was a curious thing, the way nature worked. She felt a newfound appreciation for the delicate balance of life beneath the waves, a balance she was part of every time she entered the water. The incident hadn't dampened her love for surfing, but changed her perspective. She realized that every time she paddled out, she was a visitor in the marine world, a beautiful world yet could be unforgiving. It was a reminder to never take the ocean for granted. Over the next few days, Mia spent time reflecting on her experience. She visited the local marine conservation center to learn more about sharks and their behavior. The knowledge she gained was enlightening. She learned about the importance of sharks in the ocean ecosystem and how humans are more threatened by them than we were by them. Determined to turn her experience into something positive, Mia began to advocate for shark conservation in her community. She spoke at local schools and the surf club, sharing her story and the importance of respecting ocean life. She emphasized coexistence and the need to protect marine habitats. Mia's experience also led her to take additional safety measures while surfing. She invested in a shark deterrent device to keep sharks at bay without harming them. It gave her an added sense of security, though she knew the ocean would always carry its risks. As the weeks passed, Mia returned to the water, her love for surfing as strong as ever. She felt a connection with the ocean that went beyond the sport. It was a relationship built on respect, understanding, and a deep appreciation for the natural world. Mia's encounter with the shark became a defining moment in her life, not because of the danger she faced, but because of how it transformed her view of the ocean. It was a reminder that in the vast, ever-changing seas, humans were just a tiny part of a much larger story. She continued to surf, to chase the waves, but now with a deeper awareness of the world beneath her board, a world as mysterious as it was magnificent. In the ethereal summer of 2008, the Callaway family embarked on an extraordinary cruise holiday aboard the majestic ship Celestial Voyager. Dr. Octavian Callaway, a distinguished marine biologist enthralled by the secrets of the deep, saw this as a chance to create lasting memories with his family. His wife, Serafina, and their 2 children, the spirited Isolde and the inquisitive Theron, accompanied him. The Celestial Voyager set sail through the frigid waters of the Southern Ocean, an opulent vessel navigating through the frozen wonders around the Antarctic Peninsula. The ship's voyage through the icy landscapes, adorned with towering icebergs and elusive wildlife, promised a breathtaking adventure for the Callaways. Octavian, a joyous storyteller, couldn't resist sharing his wealth of knowledge about the local species with his family. The vast expanse of icy wilderness, framed by majestic snow-capped mountains, became the backdrop for this enchanting family odyssey. The anticipation of rare sightings, from penguins gracefully waddling on the ice to seals basking on the shores, fueled the Callaways' excitement. Amidst the awe-inspiring scenery, the Celestial Voyager dropped anchor near a secluded beach. This desolate stretch of icy coastline, adorned with glistening snow and ancient ice formations, set the stage for an unexpected twist of fate that would forever alter the Callaways' lives. Little did the family know that a silent observer monitored their every move beneath the icy waters as they disembarked onto the frigid shore. A leopard seal with a sleek silver coat had taken an interest in the intruders in its secluded domain. The day unfolded as the Callaways explored the ethereal beauty of the icy landscape. The leopard seal, intrigued by their presence, remained submerged, observing the family's every move with an uncanny intelligence. The atmosphere was tranquil, tinged with the scent of salt and adventure. Suddenly, a disturbance in the water stirred the leopard seal from its passive observation. A primal rage flickered in its eyes as it lunged with astonishing speed toward Octavian, its jaws clamping down on his leg. The idyllic scene transformed into a chaotic battleground, the savage waves reflecting the tempest within the leopard seal's soul. Serafina, Isolde, and Theron were caught off guard and screamed in terror as the leopard seal's relentless assault continued. The once serene beach became a tumultuous arena of survival, with the leopard seal's powerful thrashes creating a storm of icy spray. The family fought desperately against the brutal attack, their pleas for help muffled by the roar of the savage waves. In a desperate bid for survival, Isolde seized a piece of driftwood and struck the leopard seal on the snout, stunning the creature momentarily. This unexpected turn of events allowed the family to retreat towards the safety of the Celestial Voyager, now anchored a distance away. As the cruise ship pulled away from the dangerous shore, the Callaways huddled together, battered and bruised, haunted by the untamed fury of the leopard seal. The leopard seal, a distant silhouette on the icy horizon, watched them with curiosity and resentment as the Celestial Voyager sailed away from the Antarctic wilderness. Months later, the aftermath of the brutal encounter continued to haunt the Callaways. Octavian, his legs scarred both physically and emotionally, embarked on an expedition to study leopard seals, hoping to unravel the wonders behind the leopard seal's aggression. Traumatized by the events, Serafina sought solace in a coastal town with sweeping ocean views. Isolde and Theron, still haunted by nightmares, found solace in their shared struggle. The siblings leaned on each other, creating a bond transcending the trauma of that distant Antarctic shore. Together they explored creative outlets, art, writing, and music, to cope with the lingering scars etched into their memories. The untamed fury of the leopard seal had become a catalyst for change, not only in the lives of the Callaways, but also in the wider world. Octavian's research findings, presented at international conferences, stirred conversations among scientists, policymakers, and conservationists. The untamed tale became a beacon for change, leading to collaborative efforts to ensure that future interactions between humans and wildlife would be marked by respect and coexistence. The Callaways, amidst the chaos of media attention and newfound advocacy, found strength in their unity. The scars of that icy battleground became badges of resilience, and the family's journey toward healing transformed into a testament to human endurance. As the years unfolded, the Callaways continued their lives with a profound appreciation for the delicate dance between humanity and the untamed. Leopard seal's fury had left an indelible mark, not just on their lives but on the collective consciousness of those who heard their story. Ultimately, the untamed waves that crashed against the Antarctic shores had given rise to a powerful undercurrent of change. This narrative echoed through time, reminding humanity of the fragility and resilience embedded in the dance between the civilized and the wild. The ethereal symphony of nature had played its unpredictable tune, leaving the Callaways forever changed by the enigmatic wrath of the leopard seal. In the Straits of Gibraltar, a group of sailors found themselves amid an extraordinary and dangerous situation. The sailors, known for their resilience and tenacity, had embarked on a journey across these waters, lured by the tales of adventure and the beauty of the sea. Little did they know that they were about to face a formidable adversary, a group of killer whales, their peaceful demeanor shattered by a newfound aggression. Among these sailors, Captain Jack Thompson stood at the helm, a seasoned mariner with a rugged face etched by the sun and salted by the sea breeze. His crew comprised diverse individuals, each with a story and a shared love for the open waters. Sarah, the ship's first mate, was known for her unwavering determination and keen instincts. James, the ship's navigator, possessed an uncanny ability to read the winds and waves. Finally, young Daniel, the deckhand, was eager to prove his mettle in the maritime world. Their vessel, the Emerald, gracefully cut through the waves, guided by the skillful hands of Captain Thompson. It was a sunny day in July 2022, and the sailors reveled in the beauty of the Straits of Gibraltar. The azure waters seemed to stretch endlessly, promising a tranquil voyage. As they sailed through these historic straits, they couldn't help but feel the weight of the legends surrounding these waters. Tales of maritime adventures and encounters with creatures of the deep had always intrigued them. However, they had no clue that their own story would soon be etched into the annals of maritime lore. Unbeknownst to them, the straits had become problematic in recent years. The tranquility of these waters had been disrupted by a growing menace: killer whales. The sailors heard whispers of these encounters, tales of boats being damaged and sunk. White Gladys, the female orca believed to be the orchestrator of these attacks, was a name they had grown wary of. This mysterious leader had reportedly taught her pod to target vessels, causing chaos among the maritime community. The sailors had been cautioned by the Orca Project team leader, John Burbeck, who had advised them on a peculiar yet essential defense mechanism. They carried bags of sand, a seemingly unassuming solution, but their lifeline against the impending threat. Burbeck echoed in their minds, "It doesn't have to be a lot of sand. The orcas are coming in on sonar, not sight. We know that." And sand around the rudder confuses that sonar picture they're picking up. As they continued their journey, a sense of unease settled over the crew. They had seen these majestic creatures earlier in their voyage at a distance, breaching and playing in the waves. But now, the orcas were closing in, their intent unclear and their aggression palpable. The sailors were about to face an ordeal that would test their mettle and their ability to adapt in the face of nature's fury. The sailors aboard the Emerald watched with growing concern as the orcas closed in. These once majestic creatures had turned into relentless adversaries, their black and white bodies slicing through the water with precision. Sarah, the first mate, was the first to react. She grabbed the bags of sand and rushed to the ship's stern. With a swift, practiced motion, she scattered the sand around the rudder. As the grains dispersed into the water, she hoped that John Burbeck's advice would hold. Captain Jack Thompson barked orders to the crew, urging them to bang pots and pans on deck, creating a cacophonous symphony reverberating through the hull. The goal was to confound the orca's sonar further, creating a disorienting and noisy barrier around the vessel. The orcas, however, were undeterred. Their attacks were relentless and calculated. With astonishing force, they headbutted the vessel's rudder, their powerful bodies slamming against the ship's vulnerable appendage. The Emerald shuddered under the assault, its timbers creaking in protest. James, the ship's navigator, desperately tried to steer the vessel away from the orcas, but their agility and coordination made it nearly impossible to evade them. The orcas seemed to anticipate every move, turning the encounter into a deadly dance of predator and prey. The crew's determination wavered as the attack continued, and fear gnawed at their resolve. The orcas showed no sign of letting up, their aggression escalating. Each blow against the rudder felt like a strike to the heart of the sailors' hopes and dreams. The orcas' sonar, distorted by the sand and the clanging of pots and pans, only seemed to intensify their aggression. It was as if they were determined to overcome these obstacles and reach their elusive goal. Hours passed and the crew grew weary. The orcas showed no signs of fatigue, and the ship's rudder bore the brunt of their relentless assault. It was a battle of attrition, and the sailors were acutely aware of the stakes. As the orca assault persisted, the sailors steeled themselves for a long, difficult night. Once a place of wonder and adventure, the Straits of Gibraltar had transformed into a battleground, and the crew of the Emerald would need every ounce of their courage and cunning to emerge from this deadly encounter unscathed. Gradually, the orca's aggression began to wane. The blows against the ship's rudder became less frequent and less forceful. It was as if the predators had realized that their prey would not succumb easily. The first light of dawn broke over the horizon, casting a new hope on the Emerald. Perhaps sensing that their relentless pursuit had met its match, the orcas finally relented. They turned and swam away, their sleek forms disappearing into the ocean's depths. The crew of the Emerald let out a collective sigh of relief. They had endured a night of peril, a battle against nature's mightiest hunters. They had stood their ground, defended their vessel, and emerged from the ordeal with their lives and ship intact. The sailors looked out at the tranquil waters as the sun rose, illuminating the Straits of Gibraltar. The sea, which had been a battleground, was now a symbol of their resilience and bravery. They had faced the relentless orca assault and emerged victorious. Still gripping the ship's wheel, Captain Jack Thompson turned to his crew with a proud and grateful smile. They had weathered the storm together, and their bond had grown stronger. In the vibrant coastal town of Oceana Bay, known for its crystal-clear waters and exotic marine life, 2002 was an unforgettable experience for two unsuspecting tourists. Lisa Jenkins and Mark Thompson, a couple seeking a tranquil escape from their mundane lives, arrived at this tropical paradise. With its sun-kissed beaches and lush palm trees, Oceana Bay promises the perfect setting for relaxation and adventure. Lisa, a schoolteacher with a penchant for sea adventures, had always dreamed of exploring the wonders beneath the ocean's surface. Mark, a software engineer in need of a break, eagerly joined her on this voyage of discovery. They left behind the bustling city life and embarked on a journey to Oceana Bay, guided by their shared passion for exploring the natural world. Their arrival in Oceana Bay began a dream vacation filled with sun-soaked days and excellent, refreshing ocean swims. The town's welcoming locals and the aroma of freshly grilled seafood created an ambiance of delight. They spent their mornings snorkeling, their afternoons sipping coconut water, and their evenings indulging in local delicacies. Every day was a new adventure, bringing them closer to the rich marine life that thrived in the bay's deep blue waters. Oceana Bay is famous for its diverse marine ecosystem, from colorful coral reefs to various fish species. But it was also known for its sea snakes, some of which possessed venomous fangs and could deliver excruciating bites if provoked. While these creatures were generally peaceful, Lisa and Mark had heard tales from locals about the occasional encounters that went awry. Still, the couple's passion for exploration made them eager to venture into the ocean's depths. As they frolicked in the azure waters and reveled in the sun's warm embrace, the couple was blissfully unaware of the lurking danger beneath the surface. Oceana Bay was known for its picturesque beauty and residence of sea snakes, some nasty and capable of inflicting painful bites. One fateful afternoon, as the sun hung high in the sky and the couple enjoyed the ocean's tranquility, Lisa took a moment to relieve herself in the water. Unbeknownst to her, this simple act would set in motion a terrifying encounter with one of Oceana Bay's most notorious inhabitants, a sea snake known for its quick temper and potent venom. With the tranquil scene set, we delve into the unfolding drama of this unfortunate confrontation, where the serene ocean would soon turn into a battleground for survival. The events that followed were swift and harrowing. Lisa, waist-deep in the water, began to feel an unusual sensation against her leg. At first, she brushed it off as seaweed, but the sensation persisted, becoming more unsettling with each passing moment. As she turned her gaze downward, her heart pounded in her chest. Coiled around her leg was a sea snake, its iridescent scales glistening in the sunlight. Panic surged through her body, and a guttural scream escaped her lips. Mark, swimming nearby, immediately sensed the urgency in her cries and swam toward her. Lisa's mind raced as she tried to free herself from the serpent's grip. The snake, startled by her sudden movements, reacted defensively. It struck rapidly and fluidly, its fangs piercing Lisa's skin. The pain was immediate and intense, shooting through her leg like fire. Mark reached his distressed partner just as the snake's venom began to take its toll. Lisa's vision blurred and she grew weaker by the second. With Mark's help, she managed to break free from the snake's grasp, but the damage was done. Frantic and terrified, Mark towed Lisa back to the shore, shouting for help as he did so. Beachgoers rushed to their aid and someone dialed the emergency number. As they waited for medical assistance, Lisa's condition deteriorated rapidly. The snake's venom coursed through her veins, causing her body to convulse with pain. When the paramedics finally arrived, they quickly assessed the situation. Lisa was in critical condition, her breathing labored and her heart rate erratic. The sea snake's venom was wreaking havoc on her body, and time was of the essence. She was placed on a stretcher and rushed to the nearest medical facility. The once clear waters of Oceana Bay had transformed into a battleground, where the couple fought not against an enemy they could see, but against a venomous intruder hidden beneath the waves. At the hospital, a team of medical professionals worked tirelessly to counteract the effects of the sea snake's venom. Lisa's body was painful, and her life hung in the balance. The situation was dire, and her survival depended on the swift and precise actions of the healthcare team. They administered anti-venom and provided supportive care to counteract the snake's deadly toxin. Mark, overwhelmed with concern, remained by Lisa's side throughout her ordeal. He watched as the medical staff worked tirelessly to stabilize her condition. The days were long and anxious, but gradually there were signs of improvement. Lisa's vital signs stabilized and she started to regain consciousness. After a few weeks of intensive care, Lisa's condition improved significantly. While she had faced a harrowing ordeal, she had emerged from it with her life intact. The sea snake's venom had nearly claimed her, but her resilience and the skill of the medical team had prevailed. As she recovered, authorities launched an investigation into the incident. They scoured the area around Oceana Bay, looking for any signs of unusual sea snake activity. The incident raised awareness about the presence of sea snakes in the region, and local authorities began to educate tourists and beachgoers about the potential risks associated with these creatures. Sea snakes are typically non-aggressive and tend to avoid human contact. They are, however, highly venomous, making any encounter potentially dangerous. While rare, incidents like the one Lisa and Mark experienced were a stark reminder of the delicate balance between humans and the natural world. Interestingly, it was discovered that a similar incident had occurred a few years prior in the same area. A sea snake had bitten another individual, though that individual had not been as fortunate as Lisa. The earlier incident had led to increased vigilance and the implementation of measures to prevent such encounters, but nature remained unpredictable. The authorities, now better informed and equipped, decided to implement additional safety measures near Oceana Bay. They worked with local experts and marine biologists to understand the behavior of sea snakes and improve public safety. Signs were posted along the beach, cautioning visitors about the presence of these creatures and advising them on how to react if they encountered one. Lisa's remarkable recovery and the lessons learned from the sea snake encounter became a source of inspiration and awareness for the local community and visitors. Oceana Bay continued attracting tourists, but now they did so with a newfound respect for the marine life that shared the waters. The incident served as a potent reminder that the natural world is both wondrous and unpredictable, and that coexistence with its inhabitants required knowledge and caution. Lisa and Mark's story, though marked by fear and suffering, ultimately became a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the importance of respecting the boundaries of the animal kingdom. In the serene coastal town of Harper's Cove, nestled on the edge of the North Atlantic, the year was 1995. This quaint community, known for its rich maritime history and close-knit population, was about to become the center of an unprecedented marine event that would etch itself into the annals of oceanographic adventures. Dr. Eliza Harrow, a distinguished oceanographer with an insatiable thirst for unraveling the secrets of the deep, had made Harper's Cove her summer operations base. With her crew aboard the research vessel Aurora, she embarked on a mission to study the migratory patterns of local marine life. Little did she know, her path would soon intersect with a wonder of colossal proportions. Dr. Harrow reviewed the day's data as the sun lay down the horizon, painting the sky orange and purple. The peaceful evening on the ocean belied the tension that brewed beneath the surface. As twilight enveloped the world, it was then that she first noticed the anomaly on the sonar. A shadow that defied explanation, far larger than any known species of shark, moving with purpose through the depths. Curiosity piqued, Dr. Harrow decided to investigate further. She reasoned that perhaps a new, undiscovered species was lurking in the waters of Harper's Cove, a thought that excited and terrified her in equal measure. With her equipment ready, she planned a dive for the following day, unaware she was about to come face to face with the Leviathan's shadow. Eliza and her team set out the following day with a clear blue sky and a calm sea. Their destination was the last known location of the anomaly. The dive was routine at first, with Eliza documenting the marine life and collecting samples. However, as they descended deeper, unease began to take hold. The water grew colder, the light from the surface faded, and the ocean became eerily silent. Suddenly, Eliza spotted a massive silhouette gliding through the water with an effortless grace that belied its enormous size. It was unlike any shark she had ever seen or studied. Its body was elongated, its skin a dark, shadowy hue that seemed to absorb the light around it. When it turned to survey its surroundings, the creature's eyes shone with an intelligent gleam, sending a shiver down Eliza's spine. Curious and perhaps unaware of its formidable presence, the Leviathan approached the team. Its massive form, barely discernible against the dark waters, moved with an elegance that belied its size. Eliza was both awed and terrified. She signaled her team to stay back, her instincts telling her that the creature was not aggressive but inquisitive. However, the proximity of the Leviathan created an unforeseen disturbance. The powerful current generated by its massive body sent Eliza tumbling through the water, her equipment damaged and her orientation lost. In those moments, the oceanographer faced the raw power of nature, a force both beautiful and terrifying. Eliza's survival instincts kicked in. Using her damaged equipment, she released a distress flare, a beacon in the watery depths. She knew her oxygen was limited, and with the communication gear malfunctioning, she was effectively alone and invisible to her team. Sensing the distress in Eliza's movements, the Leviathan circled again, keeping a respectful distance. It was as if the creature understood the fragility of the human before it. Despite her fear, Eliza marveled at this display of intelligence and empathy from such a colossal being. With her oxygen levels critically low and the Leviathan now merely a silent guardian in the dark, Eliza desperately attempted to ascend. She used the last of her strength to kick towards the surface, her progress agonizingly slow due to her injuries and the weight of her equipment. Just as her consciousness began to wane, shadows appeared above her. Having seen the distress flare, her team had come to her rescue. They pulled her into the safety of the dive boat, administering first aid and oxygen. Eliza's life was saved by the quick actions of her crew and perhaps by the unexpected compassion of the Leviathan. Back on the Aurora, as Eliza recovered, she reflected on the encounter. She had come face to face with death, not at the hands or teeth of a monstrous creature, but from the unpredictable nature of the deep sea itself. The Leviathan, rather than the assailant, had become a protector in those critical moments, a reminder of the delicate balance between human curiosity and nature's wild, untamed forces. Eliza's brush with death deepened her resolve. It was a reminder of the risks inherent in her quest for knowledge and the profound connections that could be formed in the least expected circumstances. The Leviathan, once a shadowy figure of fear, had become a symbol of the ocean's wonders and magnificence, a guardian of the deep that had, against all odds, saved her life. Eliza's encounter with the Leviathan made headlines, stirring both fascination and fear among the residents of Harper's Cove. The scientific community was ablaze with speculation about this wondrous behemoth. Was it a relic from a bygone era or a new apex predator hidden from human eyes? Determined to find answers, Eliza organized a series of expeditions to track and study the Leviathan. Each dive brought them closer to understanding the creature, yet it remained elusive, always at the edge of discovery, like a shadow in the deep. The conflict at the heart of Eliza's quest was not just about the pursuit of knowledge. It was a race against time to ensure the safety of Harper's Cove. With each sighting, the Leviathan seemed to grow bolder, venturing closer to the shore, and the town's residents grew increasingly concerned about the potential danger lurking in their waters. In the months that followed, Eliza and her team amassed a wealth of data on the Leviathan. They observed its behavior, documented its movements, and even managed to collect samples of its skin. As summer turned to autumn and the waters of Harper's Cove grew colder, the Leviathan's appearances became less frequent. Eliza speculated that it had migrated to warmer waters, leaving behind a trail of questions and a sense of unfinished business. The impact of the Leviathan's discovery was profound. Eliza Harrow emerged from the ordeal with a renewed sense of purpose. She had encountered a marvel of the natural world, a reminder of the mysteries that lay hidden beneath the waves. Harper's Cove, once a quiet coastal town, became a beacon for scientists and adventurers alike, drawn by the legend of the Leviathan. In the end, the creature that Eliza had dubbed the Leviathan remained at large, a shadow in the depths that continued to captivate and inspire. Its presence in Harper's Cove was a testament to the untamed wilderness of the ocean, a realm where the line of reality blurred and where the pursuit of knowledge was an adventure unto itself. The Leviathan, ever elusive, continued to grace the waters with its presence, a constant reminder of the vast, unexplored wilderness that lies beneath the waves. Eliza Harrow's encounters with the Leviathan advanced scientific understanding and woven a new legend into the fabric of Harper's Cove. It was a story of curiosity, courage, and connection, a testament to the power of the unknown to unite and inspire. As the sun set on another day, casting long shadows over the water, Eliza knew that the story of the Leviathan was far from over. It was a narrative that would continue to evolve as long as there were those brave enough to seek out the shadows and explore the depths of our world's final frontier. In the serene waters surrounding the Neptune Islands, Australia, renowned for its rich marine life and breathtaking beauty, Lydia Bennett, a 28-year-old environmental scientist and avid swimmer, embarked on her most challenging adventure yet. It was the summer of 2021, a year that brought Lydia joy and hardship. After recovering from a knee injury, she had set her sights on competing in an open-water swimming race, pushing her limits in the vast, unpredictable ocean. Lydia's connection to the ocean was profound. Raised in a small coastal town near Adelaide, the sea had always mesmerized her. The ocean was her escape, her sanctuary, where the rhythm of the waves matched the beat of her heart. As a child, she'd listened to her grandfather's tales of the sea, stories of beauty and danger, of creatures both majestic and fearsome. Those tales now resonated more than ever as she prepared for the race. Training in open water was different from a pool's still waters. Lydia knew that. She understood the ocean's temperament and respected its power. But the Neptune Islands held a reputation that both thrilled and intimidated her. Known for their population of great white sharks, these waters were as beautiful as they were daunting. One crisp morning, under the watchful eye of the rising sun, Lydia set out in her boat with her trainer, Marcus Flint. Marcus, a former professional swimmer, had been Lydia's mentor for years. His confidence in her abilities was unwavering, but that day, he felt a twinge of apprehension as he reminded her to respect the ocean and always be aware of her surroundings. His voice a blend of concern and encouragement. They reached a secluded spot, far from the usual tourist trails. The water was crystal clear, reflecting the azure sky. Lydia looked over the boat's edge in her sleek swimming suit with goggles firmly in place. She could see the shadowy outlines of fish darting below. Taking a deep breath, she dove in. The cool water enveloped her, a familiar embrace. She began her rhythm, each stroke a testament to her determination. Marcus watched from the boat, scanning the waters, always alert. Lydia felt free, her body moving with grace and strength. She loved this feeling, the sense of being one with the sea. About 30 minutes into her swim, Lydia's heart raced. Not from exertion, but from a chilling sensation that she wasn't alone. She paused, treading water, and looked around. The tranquility of the morning was deceptive. A dark shape about 20 feet away caught her eye. Her heart skipped a beat as she recognized the distinct outline of a great white shark, its dorsal fin cutting through the water like a blade. Panic surged through Lydia's veins. She knew better than to thrash about, to show fear, but every instinct screamed at her to flee. The shark circled, a curious yet terrifying presence. Lydia remembered her grandfather's advice. In the ocean, you must be as smart as you are brave. She began to swim back towards the boat, steady and deliberate, trying not to provoke the predator. Marcus had seen the shark and was frantically starting the engine, his voice calling out to her. The distance seemed to stretch endlessly, each stroke an eternity. As Lydia neared the boat, the shark accelerated, its primal instincts triggered. Her heart pounded in her chest, her breaths short and rapid. The shark was close now, too close. Lydia could see its massive form beneath the water, a dark shadow of impending danger. She reached for the boat, fingers grazing the edge when the shark made its move. In that heart-stopping moment, as the great white shark lunged towards her with its daunting jaws wide open, Lydia's mind raced with a whirlwind of fear and determination. Time seemed to slow down, each second stretching into eternity. Her training, love for the ocean, and will to survive all came crashing together in a surge of adrenaline. With an agility born of panic and instinct, Lydia dove under the shark, narrowly avoiding its gaping mouth. She remembered an old trick her grandfather had mentioned, sharks being less able to maneuver quickly in deeper waters. Her lungs screamed for air, but she dove deeper, pushing her body to its limits. Above her, the shark turned, its massive body a terrifying spectacle in the clear water. Lydia could see Marcus shouting and throwing something into the water on the boat, a distraction. It was a risky move, but it gave her a precious few seconds. She swam with all her might, her muscles burning, her mind focused on reaching the boat. The shark, drawn away by the commotion, gave Lydia the chance she needed. She surfaced, gasping for air, just a few feet from the boat. Marcus reached out, his hands grasping hers in a firm grip. With a strength she didn't know she had, Lydia propelled herself out of the water and into the boat, collapsing onto the deck. Her heart pounded against her ribcage like a drum, her breaths coming in ragged gasps. Marcus was immediately at her side, his face a mask of concern and relief. He kept reassuring her that she was okay, even though Lydia could barely hear him over her heartbeat. The shark, its curiosity seemingly satisfied, had disappeared into the depths. The danger was over, but the echo of it lingered in Lydia's trembling limbs. She lay there looking up at the sky, the color of the ocean reflected in its vast expanse. She had faced her worst fear, had stared into the eyes of one of nature's most formidable predators, and had survived. The journey back to shore was a blur. Lydia sat silently, wrapped in a blanket, staring at the water. She thought about the shark, about the power and grace of such a creature. She realized that her respect for the ocean had deepened, tinged now with a profound understanding of its dangers. When they finally reached the dock, Lydia's story quickly spread among the locals. Her encounter with the great white shark became the talk of the town, a tale of bravery and survival against incredible odds. But for Lydia, it was more than that. It was a life-changing experience, a reminder of how fragile yet strong she could be. Lydia's story reached beyond the small coastal town in the following weeks. It was shared in newspapers, social media, and local television. People were amazed by her courage and her ability to face such danger and come out alive. Lydia, however, found herself drawn back to the ocean, where she had faced her deepest fear. She continued to swim, to embrace the water that was an integral part of her being. The shark attack had not deterred her. Instead, it had forged a new connection with the sea rooted in respect and a deep understanding of the delicate balance between humans and nature. The open water race came and went. Lydia participated not to win, but to prove she could face her fears head-on. She didn't come in first, but crossing the finish line was a victory. Her encounter with the shark became a pivotal moment, a story she would tell for years. But more importantly, it was a testament to her resilience, respect for nature, and unyielding spirit. In the vast, unpredictable ocean, Lydia Bennett had found her strength, purpose, and place in the world.